Will Bednar matchup tonight at 6 p.m. in a winner-take-all championship game. Kyle Schwarber stayed hot, mashing a 434-foot home run on the first pitch he saw to hit his 16th dinger in the last 18 games. In addition, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 more long balls last night to build on his major league leading total. The Atlanta Hawks have new hopes as they tied the series up at 2 games apiece last night despite Trae Young out with an injury. The Hawks won 110-88 behind 21 points from Lou Williams. Giannis left the game early due to a hyperextended knee, is getting further testing later today. Tonight, Phoenix travels to Los Angeles to try and close out the Clippers in Game 6. Tip-off from the Staples Center is slated for 8 p.m. And lastly, Serena Williams was forced to retire from Wimbledon after she slipped and fell. It's just the second time in her career she's been forced to retire from a major tournament. For all your latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the DP and Stevens Show, live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Derek Pearson.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Tom Stevens.
I must break you.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
How do you spell it?
W-I-N-S Day, especially if you're in Atlanta.
That is right.
Or at Mississippi State.
Both those teams doing well.
Wins.
Atlanta ties the series, the Eastern Conference Finals, at 2 games apiece. And now we have a Game 3 after Mississippi State beats Vandy 13-2.
Can I yell about that quite a bit?
Which one do you want to yell about?
Well, because I said yesterday, if you've got a horse, you got 2 horses in a short series, first to win 2. Why would you take the chance and rest horse number 2 to get to Game 3?
Maybe it's all fixed so they can get a Game 3. Maybe ESPN paid them off. Maybe that's it.
I don't understand. I don't. Why do you not go with your horse?
Well, they will tonight.
Yeah, but
Coomer will be on the mound tonight. That'll be fun tonight.
But wouldn't it have been easy to do that last night?
Well, if he's not fully rested,
he's 20 years old. He's rested.
Because you're going to have Bednar versus Will Bednar was awesome in the performance versus Texas. So Mississippi State will have him versus Coomer.
But you could have ended your season, won the chip, and gone home.
But then you wouldn't get Coomer Rocker versus Will Bednar tonight.
But then things happen. You don't have control now. Win the chip when you can win the chip.
Yeah, and now Mississippi State's more rested.
And they've got momentum.
They've got some momentum.
They had a good night swinging the bats. They put up 8 runs. You allowed them to feel like, you know what? Not only do we belong, but we should win the dang thing.
That wasn't a very good game to watch. There was nothing good to watch last night. My Royals blow the lead. They lose to the Red Sox, so I turn it to the NBA. I didn't think that was a very entertaining game last night. I'm not sure what Milwaukee. I'm not sure what they were doing.
Watched last night's Atlanta Hawks game, and that's what it should look like next year for Nebraska running their offense.
Nebraska should look like the Hawks?
They should look like the Hawks last night, moving the ball around.
What do you say?
Shots to space, no particular focus. Nobody was the ball magnet. The ball was made of fire, and the quicker you move it, the better the result.
And they did it without Trae Young. Lou Williams got the start.
Again, when everybody becomes a threat to score, you're much more difficult to defend. And they did it in space. They created space. They opened up the middle for the mid-range jumper. They had open threes along the way. They were great in transition, got a whole lot of easy buckets that Milwaukee couldn't outrun. Look, if you want a picture of what the Huskers offense should look like next year, it was last night's Atlanta
Well, that
Hawks.
was pretty. They spread the floor, and they did it without Trae Young, and they may do it the rest of the series. Who knows? That was kind of a mystery as to why he didn't play. Nobody really knew that he was not going to play.
No, we knew from him rolling the ankle, stepping on the official's foot.
Yeah, but it wasn't announced till shortly before the game that I saw that he wasn't going to play.
Oh no, I saw it yesterday morning.
Okay.
I saw it
I
yesterday
thought
morning.
there was a possibility, and now Giannis is out with a knee injury. If you would have bet the Atlanta Hawks to go to the
Conference
NBA,
final.
the conference final, the NBA championship, I mean, there's a real possibility now tied at 2 that they could be playing.
Raise your hand if you had that in the pool.
You'd be making some money. You did not.
You absolutely did not, Nick.
You did not, Nick. You had them beating Philadelphia in 6.
I did, and I like the matchup with the Bucks, but you don't expect things to play out. Like if Giannis doesn't play, then you have an entirely new series.
Yeah, I mean,
Because now Middleton becomes the focus. The way that so what Milwaukee had to do last night was change the entire way they were going to defend, because everything was Trae Young based as a magnet, right? So we're going to help off of Capella, but you help off of space. You identified certain shooters in certain spots. But last night, none of the people were where they normally are. So your closeouts are different. Your spacing's different. Now Milwaukee may have that advantage without Giannis. Not sure they want it.
they don't want that.
Well, Atlanta didn't want to go without Trae, and look how they beat the pants off the Bucks.
And
So-
Milwaukee doesn't have a Lou Williams coming off the bench necessarily
Well,
that I see.
well,
but Middleton could be
Middleton's
better.
a problem, and they've got defenders in space. Like, we understand that PJ Tucker now will get more shots in the corner 3. Lopez will take more shots, which are always good shots. Lopez hasn't taken a bad shot all series.
Yeah, we have all these definitive opinions about all these games coming out of each and every game. And maybe we should just watch it and enjoy it, because I don't know what's going to happen.
The first thing I told you when I walked in this morning, I had no idea what I was watching last night. Like, if you had held my feet to fire and say make a bet, I would have made a bet on the Bucks with no Trae Young for the Hawks.
I would have as well.
Like, that's just I would have made.
But then when Giannis went out, of course he went out in the third quarter.
Yeah, but it was already done. It was a 20-point game.
They were already 20
It
down.
was a 20-point game at that point, and it wasn't going to get any better.
And maybe that's one of the it looked like he was walking okay, like he could have come back. He did come back to the bench almost right away after going to the locker room. So maybe he could have played, and they just decided this game's over.
This game's over. Let's not wear it. Sanderson on the text line makes a point. Bobby Portis off the bench is incredibly productive. Yeah, I liked he did a stop in DC. I've always liked Bobby Portis. I liked him in college. I kind of thought he was going to be better than he has been. But yeah, if Giannis doesn't play, it means more time for Portis and more shots. And that's a different kind of efficiency, different spacing, right? Changes all the way where everybody is. And then it identifies that Lopez, soft corner, opposite of Tucker. It's going to be a lot of open looks for PJ Tucker, corner 3 tomorrow night. But tonight, we're 3-2.
That's right.
They're 3-2, and the Suns. Look, Chris Paul, don't go to Game 7.
No, and they probably will. I mean, you got to predict in LA that LA is the favorite. LA is certainly the favorite anyway.
Well, no, but they've already taken losses there against the Suns.
Yep.
Look, one of the best parts of this postseason is that it has been unpredictable.
Actually, Phoenix is a 1-point favorite in that game.
Yeah, because this is when
In
you
LA.
want. Look, win it now. Win it now. The extra game is a false safety. It's a false comfort, because too many things can go wrong. Again, you get a player who steps on an official's ankle and you roll it, and then that costs you, or you land on the defender's foot. There are too many, or an official comes in and is having a bad night. There are too many things that can go wrong. Finish when you can finish.
This would be a huge feather in the cap of Paul George and Ty Lue, I think, if they were able to come back from 3-1 and win this series. If they do win tonight, they're going to a Game 7 in Phoenix.
Oh, it means a lot more to Paul George than it does Ty Lue. Ty Lue already has his chip.
He does.
Already has his chip, and then you'll be able to prove that, hey, I can do it outside of LeBron, which is again the Brady Belichick thing, where okay, I don't have to rely on a great player to get my chip. But Paul George, this is his legacy. Like, this is important, and here's the thing, Paul George, it's not only him getting through this series, winning the next 2 games and getting to the finals, but then he's got to win in the finals as well. Because if he goes to the finals and doesn't produce, they're going to ride him anyway.
Well, if he goes to the finals, he'll probably have Kawhi by that time available, right?
Yeah, but that's not for Paul George's legacy. That's for Kawhi's legacy.
But who gets more credit for that?
Kawhi, because he's already done it.
Yeah.
In 2 other places. He did it in 2 other cities already.
if George does this and gets them to the finals, he is going to get a bulk of the credit for them getting to the finals. But if they win the NBA championship, it still goes to Kawhi. Probably.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless he wins the MVP, but then they'll just say, well, but he had Kawhi.
Right.
He had Kawhi. Kawhi helped him finish.
Yeah. Well, you'd think they would have to be a huge favorite of whoever they play.
Not over the Bucks, would you?
Well, Giannis, I mean, I don't know the health of Giannis right now.
Well, but Everett Gray called me 8 times yesterday. At the end of it, it was like, remember, I've been telling you all along that the playoffs will play out based on health.
Yep.
He's been saying it for months.
But nobody's healthy now.
The teams that manage to get out there and line up with the most number of productive players will win the NBA championship. This is not a hey, here's the best team. The injuries for the Nets change the entire outcome.
Yeah, the Nets would be
Kyrie gets hurt.
Yeah.
Harden's hurt. Harden misses half.
They wouldn't have easily won it, but they would have easily been in the NBA finals.
The Lakers with LeBron and AD healthy. You can go through the whole thing.
But nobody is healthy.
Klay Thompson, it's a beautiful thing to watch. We were talking about LeBron show, The Barbershop, and on it he goes that the statement that you're never 100%. Like the moment you become a pro, from that moment forward, you're never 100% because injuries, wear and tear is just going to happen. He goes, and the really great teams and great players get to 99.9 or as close to as possible, except in the playoffs.
Right.
And he goes, playoffs, we're all dragging. We're all beat up. Then it's who makes the best of a bad situation. And again, in the shortest offseason recovery time the NBA's ever had, injuries are going to – we talked about it months ago, that if you're going to ask them to come right back, that there were going to be soft tissue issues across the board. And guess what? All of these are really just brutal soft tissue issues that you can't do. Tendon issue that you can't do anything about. It heals on its own time frame. You can't rehab your way through it. You just got to either gut it out or take a seat.
And to Everett's point, go with the healthiest teams. Nobody's healthy. And the two healthiest teams seem to be maybe Milwaukee and Atlanta. And now they've lost their superstar.
You lost your superstar.
And obviously the Clippers had already lost their superstar. So who's the healthiest? I don't think anybody's healthy.
The Suns are the closest.
The Suns are the closest.
Yeah, the Suns are the closest. And that's why they've been playing so well.
But with a full roster, they didn't play well the other night.
Well, remember, their health issues was COVID.
Yeah.
Their health issues were
Chris
COVID.
Paul was out, but they were winning without Chris Paul, and then he comes back and they didn't win.
I'll repeat it, that when you take away all of this stuff is schemed against the best player opposing team. Right, all of it's scheme. We've got to take away things from Chris Paul, so we will allow the worst best option to beat us. All right, who's the 5th best offensive player on the floor at that time? We'll defend him off of his spot, and then if he beats us some other way, we'll take the loss. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happened with the Bucks last night. If you're used to defending Trae Young in the middle of the court with handling the ball, 60% of the time, and now Trae Young's not there. Yeah. Now you've got to change everything that you've been pounding into the heads of the Milwaukee Bucks defenders.
But they would have taken that if they would have taken
in your head. You're going to take it.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that happened to Phoenix. Here's what the Clippers are coming in, and they're going to be desperate. Wait a minute, you're not counting on them taking the shots from where they're taking them.
Right.
Wait, coach, you said we didn't have to defend outer third corner shots. Well, normally in the greater scope, that's the one thing we're going to give them.
Right.
And then if they hit it, you take your loss and you move along.
The College World Series is doing well as far as attendance is concerned this year. 22,398 per game. That's the highest since 2013. In only 14 sessions, the record is 357,000, just over that. In 16 games, they could break the record tonight with a crowd of about 35,000, I guess.
How does that not sell out tonight? It's in the World Series breakdown. It's the perfect way. You've got 2 stud pitchers, 2 programs that battled their way through. Everybody's been dying to get out. The weather should be decent, right? Tonight, it's supposed to be decent night.
Yeah.
So this is the championship game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And More power to Mississippi State fans, man. They've been dominating the College World Series with their performance, with their attendance.
Can I ask you why the NCAA does not promote baseball championship night the way they do basketball championship night or football championship night?
It's just not as popular. I mean,
well, it's not popular because you don't promote it.
Well,
You
maybe
don't promote
so,
it. You
and maybe they don't promote
it.
it because it's not that popular. I mean, it's chicken and egg type
It's
thing.
baseball. It's America's pastime.
It is, but baseball's numbers will never rival the NFL. Never.
It doesn't
rival.
have to rival the NFL. It has to rival Final Four Monday night. It has to rival football BCS Monday night. Like, they do a really good job of that, right? And instead, somehow they've moved this to Tuesday. And I get that. But now you have a championship game in one of the three major sports, and it is not hyped. It's not like normally today you would have, in every newspaper, the lead would have been Alabama Clemson.
Yeah.
The lead would have been Kentucky Duke.
Right.
Today, it's Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, which shouldn't be that much of a step down, but it's still your national championship game. Like, the sport sets itself up the entire year to have a final game where it matters, and it's not the focus. And I'm just curious.
But you couldn't have a better matchup in Kumar Rocker versus Will Bednar. And that will be tonight. It was delayed a couple of hours last night, so I'm sure that hurt the ratings or watching last night. They didn't get
because you
started.
find other stuff to do.
Now, I was watching the Royals, and that takes a lot to get me to watch the Royals having lost 6 in a row.
And that's maybe that's another thing to it, is that football, I don't think it's ever had a rain delay in a championship game. Basketball is indoors, so you don't have to worry about it. When you set the time, you set the time. It just seems to me like today should be a bigger day, especially in the state of Nebraska. Like, this should be a day, like a festival day. This should be one of the bigger days because, I mean, granted, it's in Omaha, but the national championship game is here tonight, and there'll be no more baseball tomorrow, no more college baseball tomorrow. So in my heart, it just says I felt like it was being treated like a bigger deal.
Well, the attendance has been fantastic in Omaha. Omaha shows out again, and a lot of that has to do with Mississippi State fans. I think they set 18 of the 19 attendance records at home this year. Their fans really love baseball, and this is going to be the first championship, I think, of any kind for Mississippi State. They have like 15 programs, almost 1,000 seasons in those 15 programs. No national championships.
Just for perspective's sake, for all of those that complain constantly about Nebraska athletics. There's Memphis State. There's Mississippi State. There are a lot of universities that fall in that boat where they don't have that legacy. They don't have the history.
But they do have the fan support. It kind of reminds me of Nebraska football in the 60s and 70s, 60s primarily, where you weren't winning, but you were always selling out. Mississippi State has had a rabid fan base for baseball. I mean, back to the Will Clark days.
Will Clark, Rafi Palmeiro, like they were loaded. I forget who the other, Bobby Thigpen. They had some dudes back in the day.
Have you seen the 30 for 30 on Mississippi State?
That was so good.
That was so good with the people just in the outfield, just making these makeshift stands.
Oh man, it was just
Palmeiro and Clark. What an era that must have been for them.
That's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. I mean, when you go down south and you get, can I ask you a question? And I'll probably get in trouble for asking you this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It was pointed out to me yesterday. So we were having the conversation about the AD, the athletic director position and other. And in that, Ronnie Green releases a statement, hey, this is where we are. This is the direction we're going. Two things happened from that statement. And Nick has the look on his face where he kind of knows where I'm going with this. Couple of things. One, that in that statement, it was said that effective August 2nd with a retirement, that the senior leadership of the athletic department will not have any women or people of color in it. How should I digest that statement?
Would that change for you if Ed Stewart is the new athletic
No,
director?
but it's where we are. Like, so it's where we
that's
are.
right. It seems amazing to me.
Right, like it was a gut punch to me.
You've had a Hispanic, I think, swimming and diving coach. I think that's it.
So this is what. So and here was the statement. So it said, and again, it Green wants to attract, and this is a quote. This is Sam McKeown's article yesterday. So Green wants to attract diverse candidates for the job, but is not keying on that aspect. That's in quotes. I can hope we increase the diversity of our administrative team in athletics, Green said of Moose's senior group. After August 2nd retirement of Pat Logsdon, it will not have a woman or a person of color in it. And I didn't want to put the chip on my shoulder, so I'll ask you again: does that matter?
Oh, absolutely, it matters.
Like, am I wrong in having the hair on the back of my neck, the little that I have, crinkle up a little bit and rise up? And then, as I was having the conversation with somebody yesterday, then it was pointed out to me, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but Nebraska has never had a person of color as a head coach in a program.
Well, Pablo Morales.
Have they ever had a black person?
No, not that I know of. Turner Gill obviously was interviewed by Tom Osborne. He was a final choice.
If you can name all the people that have been in the pool, there's not enough people in the pool.
That's exactly my point. You're talking about Turner Gill, Pablo Morales, and then that's for me, unless somebody knows of somebody else, that's it.
Can you do that? Can that thing exist by accident?
I don't know. That's probably a good question for an administrator. I would love to have a Ronnie Green on this show.
And this is not a finger pointer. I mean, we're speaking facts. This is not opinion.
Right.
This is in the history of this great athletic department and this great university that this thing has existed, and it's never. So when I talk about sports, often I point out to you that there are things that you don't have to think about that I do. And I don't want to have to think about them. I want to believe that everybody is on the same page, say equal footing other. But I also don't want to be upset about it if it's not rightfully so. Like, it's okay. Is it I'm asking for permission, but I'm really not, for me to be concerned that this is a thing in 2021. As Jeff from the text line just said, in 2021, it definitely matters.
Yeah.
I would ask that question again, purposefully. Either you did it, all things in sports are either taught or allowed.
Yeah.
So this is being either taught or allowed. And either way, I'm a little concerned that this is still a thing
right
now.
I will say this: Nebraska did hire the first female basketball assistant, second in the Power Five, in Shannon Lum. She's the director of director of operations at the University of Nebraska. Will be in charge.
Director of recruiting.
Director of recruiting. Sorry. And she'll be in charge of the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness. Nebraska's ahead of the curve in some ways, I think, as far as basketball is concerned. But you're right.
And that's not in the senior advisory. That's not the senior level of the athletic department.
It is not.
That's not that's middle management.
But you do have a chance here with the potential hire of an Ed Stewart to start down that road.
Well, I would say this. Here's my thing. If Ed Stewart's the best person for it, do that. But to tell me that you can't find any black people who are the best at what's required in the athletic department is a statement. It's just not true. It's just not true. Yeah. So it hit me, and I was a little concerned about it. I was like, okay, all right, yeah. I'll speak my piece.
Yeah, Heidi and I talked about that the other day, and yeah, you're right. It's something that needs to change.
I mean, you can tell me who you are, but your actions show me who you are. And I want to give people credit for being open-minded, diverse, forward-thinking, simply unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
To tell me that you've never found anybody who is worthy of holding senior positions in the athletic department.
Right.
No.
We've had that discussion about Jamie Williams and how Tom Osborne probably wanted him to replace himself. I think it was Paul Myers and Jamie Williams that he wanted as the two candidates to be interviewed to replace himself. And Harvey Perlman stepped in and made the decision to hire Sean Eichhorst as the new athletic director.
Right? So we understand.
Yeah.
We understand. Like, we're talking about Dr. Jamie Williams, one of the great Hall of Fame Huskers, right? We're not talking about just some dude off the street. We're talking about Dr. Jamie Williams, Spider-Man, like one of the great minds.
Stud.
Right. What? So again, just to consider that, I want folks to be, I need to be transparent with folks. And so a lot of the conversations, one, people put this into my conversations and it's not always there. But in this particular case, understand that for me, specifically, me directly, that this thing is odd. It's odd, it's peculiar, and to me, it's mind-blowing.
Not so much from a coach's standpoint, but from an administrative standpoint. You'd like to see more African-American administrators, people of color in general.
Well, I mean, just again, my thing is that it's in the entire history of the app, like for every program, every decision. And Gabe asked the question, how many people of color or women have applied? Trust me, a lot have applied. You also have to have some history that I'm not just wasting my time when I do it.
Right.
Like Jamie Williams was right there. He was in the pool. He was literally in the pool.
He was in the pool until he wasn't.
He was in the pool, and then somebody took him out of the pool.
Yep.
And it's just, and again, Jamie's not the exception to the rule. Jamie's just one of the names that we pulled up. Again, I won't set the building on fire because of it, but it just, as it sat,
it's legitimate.
It's a thing
legitimate.
that sat on my head, and I wanted to address it.
And maybe one of the questions we'll talk to about Chris Bassett a little bit later on.
He's at 1:30. Yeah,
he's at 1:30 today. Everett Gray will be on the show as well. We'll talk some NBA. We'll talk baseball. Nebraska baseball picked up a new commit, and I think he's signed, so we can talk to Lance Harvell about him. Another guy that plays infield and pitches. Nebraska, are they going in that direction with guys?
Well, you got to replace an All-American, so you better get you another one.
Is he Spencer Swellenbach? Is he that good? Well, that'll be the first question. No. We'll talk about a lot of these things today, but more to come with DP and Stevens.
More of the DP and Stevens Show is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Batter up! Gather your friends and your coworkers and get ready to play ball. Lincoln Parks and Recreation's fall sports registration is open for adult softball and kickball. All games will start in August with recreational and competitive divisions offered. Softball games are played Sunday through Friday at Mahoney, Holmes, and Ballard Fields, and kickball plays on Sundays at Lewis Ball Field. Register online at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892. That's 441-7892.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Who's the Clemson quarterback? Ukulele.
DJ Uiagalelei.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
Yeah. So he'll unveil something, right? And that'll cause a splash. If Trevor Lawrence was still around, we'd look to see what he's doing.
Can you please try to say the Clemson quarterback again?
Uiagalelei. Well, I don't know. Did you pronounce it right?
I did.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Your home isn't going to fix itself, and you're busy enough as it is.
So let Cornhusker Construction put the work in to upgrade your house. They do everything interior and exterior, including full remodel jobs. Are your kitchen and bathrooms outdated? Cornhusker Construction can help with that with new flooring, painting, drywall, and anything else. Take advantage of their summer sale with 4% off for the rest of the summer. Call in today at 308-708-0709. Cornhusker Construction.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect increasing cloud cover with an afternoon high of around 84. We will have a very slight chance of scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Winds out of the east at around 10. Tonight, clearing skies, lows dropping down to around 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high once again near 85. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Baseball's back, and it's time to celebrate, Lincoln. We're inviting fans back to Haymarket Park to join in the fun for the Salt Dogs' 20th season. Pick out single-game tickets and plot your own Salt Dog schedule around promos and deals. Come to Haymarket Park for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
With 20 years in the financial services industry, Corey Callahan of Heritage Financial Services works with families and businesses to reach their financial goals. Whether it's growing assets, protecting your assets, employee benefits, or business succession planning, Corey can help. Contact Corey Callahan at Heritage Financial Services at 402-432-7378 or on Facebook at Heritage Financial Services-Corey Callahan.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Back to the DP and Stevens Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starter Heyman text line 464-5685. Honda of Lincoln hotline 464-5685. I want to respond to something on the text line, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. The text says, do more research before you go on a racial rant. Did I not quote the source? Did I not read the quote directly? Did I not state facts?
I don't know of anything that you said that wasn't really close to facts. I mean, they were all facts.
Like, the research is done. If you can tell me that there was a coach that was of color, that was a black coach, okay. Head coach. And if you can tell me if there's anybody in the senior management in the athletic department after August 2nd who would be a person of color or a woman, that's a statement of fact.
Right.
That's the statement that was from the article. I read the article. I quoted the article.
Right. I think we all realize that Nebraska could do better at diversity and that's one of the things I mentioned with the potential hire of Ed Stewart. And you kind of laughed at me in a weird way. You weren't laughing. You weren't laughing at me, but you were laughing. Yes.
No,
right.
Because you think about this stuff. Like you're with me every day, right? You're with me every day. You guys have to face me, and I have to face you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to speak ill of you. I'm not. We can talk facts and opinions, but when it's to facts, we simply speak to facts. And you don't. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's on you.
Right.
That's a statement of you. I am not. Look, I was being nice and considerate. Like if folks really want, they want to disagree with me, go ahead and call in. We can have the conversation. But from the text line, when you add into this, it's conversation. And when you get on the text line, come to me and talk to me. Don't talk at me. Don't yell at me. No. Don't, somebody call me a dumbass. Okay, well, cool. You feel better?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better.
I know it doesn't bother you.
Yeah, Joe asked the question, why does color matter so much to me?
Well, he just says, why not just hire the best person for the job regardless of color?
America doesn't have a history of hiring the best person for the job.
No, it doesn't.
That's a statement of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not out of the, like, my existence. My thing is hire the best person,
right?
But to tell me that it's never a black person,
right?
Whoa, no, that's simply not true.
Yeah,
that's simply not true. And some backstory. So just so you understand it, I'm in Virginia. I'm coaching the lower levels just because I don't want to be a head coach. I didn't have that in me. I didn't want to, especially in that time and place. Mm-hmm. One, because we were moving, but here's the other. But I was at a school that had been there for 50 years. And never in their 50 years had they had a black head coach in any sport. This became a legal battle.
Right.
And the principal.
This was at the high school level.
Yeah. And the principal overruled and said, you know what? This is wrong. So if nothing else, we will do this. It's like, okay. And then
I think part of it is you have to interview black candidates more often. And if you do, you're going to find some really good candidates, and then you will hire people of color. But if you're never hiring an African American or never interviewing an African American or woman,
Hispanic,
or
right?
Hispanic,
whatever it is, right?
Then you're probably not going to hire them.
But you're also missing out to say that the best candidate can never be any of these people. That you've had all of these jobs, whatever, how many number, if you did a historical thing for Nebraska and all of the head coaching jobs that were open forever through eternity, and never once you found that the best person was going to be a black person. That's okay. You've broken the matrix now.
Right.
Like you've managed to work. But again, I was pointing out a fact, and how you feel about the fact is none of my business. The fact is, this is the way it stands. Being in this space and being in this business, I'm curious. And for me to have this microphone and not ask the question, shame on me.
Right.
Shame on me. Like, then I got to face me in the mirror. So, and then the other Joe Davis wants us to know, no, this is not.
That's a different Joe.
That's a different Joe.
I think you knew that.
Yes, I did.
Runza, Evan Bland wrote this, and we'll talk to him on Friday from the Omaha World Herald. Runza's about to offer, in fact, they are offering a historic name, image, and likeness deal to in-state college athletes. All college athletes in Nebraska will officially have at least one business offer Thursday when they begin profiting from their name, image, and likeness. It begins tomorrow. It's from a familiar brand, Runza. The regional food chain is offering deals to the first 100 current athletes who opt in and promote the restaurant's rewards app to their followers on social media. The move marks the first time a company is offering athletes in the state an opportunity to be paid for their endorsement of a product on a broad scale. What do you think about this? I mean, because you talk to parents about these issues all the time, right? Athletes and parents, because this is going to become a thing, and a lot of these parents are reaching out to you asking, "Is this a good deal? Should my son or daughter take this gig?"
Yeah, it's there that, and I think I've shared some text with you just for points of reference where people say, "Hey, no, I'm actually talking to the parents." As a matter of fact, we've had parents on the show and to have those very discussions. My concern is this, and I love what Runza's doing. They said the first 100 in the state. Of course, it's a redirect through Open Doors, so the people will have to engage Open Doors through their portal and make their bids and make their offers to stand up. At the first 100, they will get a one-time payment, a single flat amount for everyone, regardless of what sport they play or which school they attend. So that I would, again, this is also, you would imagine, Creighton, Wesleyan, Doane, etc. That being said, the flat rate thing is a good boundary to set. It's a good starting point. I would say this, though, for folks that are out there that are considering getting into the NIL business and dealing with athletes, I would probably recommend for your own protection, for the protection of the student athlete, for the compliance of the school. You don't want to make a mess for Nebraska's athletic department. Don't do that if that's the way you're gonna go in this thing. Simply set a good boundary, which is a lot of times these are teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And you get these corporations who are stepping into the space with teenagers. The corporations know more than the teenagers do. There is a basic imbalance that's there. I would suggest that they go through parents.
I wonder if you think the university will start providing legal counsel to the athletes on this?
Well, they'll have their compliance. Their compliance will set boundaries for them to work from.
That's compliance, and they know what they're talking about. And I'm sure a lot of it will be a one-time, here's the offer. Are you going to take it? Is it not? Or do you want to take this or do you not want to take this? What if it's, when I was in college, I would have taken a free sandwich with fries for a month. And a lot of kids was, sure, I'll take that. I don't have any money. So that's probably a bad deal for some of these athletes. If you're Adrian Martinez, that's a bad deal, right? So you're going to need advice on a lot of this stuff.
Compared to what the market will offer, right? And we understand that the market will dictate a lot of this. There are companies and restaurants and car dealerships and CD agents who will try to get their claws into these student athletes because they know better. The adults know better. Now, good adults would set the boundaries so that the bad adults, they make it difficult for the bad adults to get to their kids.
Right.
And these are our kids. These are our kids. These are Nebraska's kids, whether they come from somewhere else or they're from here. Once they're wearing the colors, they're Nebraska's kids. And we should focus on making sure that those kids are protected. Don't put them in a bad situation.
Right.
What you don't want is some seedy business person shoveling loads of cash on the down low and then coming back to that kid because they didn't follow compliance and that kid becoming ineligible or that kid causing a scandal. Set the boundaries in advance. And then I think that the additional boundary, the additional fence post is the parent. Like, to me, just include the parent in this decision-making process so that their young person isn't left out in the wind flapping.
I could see a lot of restaurants getting involved. Now they see Runza doing this and their competitors, would they just follow suit? I thought, restaurants would do this. I thought car dealerships might do this. Hey, you want to drive my car, Adrian Martinez? I need to see you driving around in my car to promote the dealership. I can't imagine that's too far away. In fact, it's happened.
I would imagine that those deals are on the table as we speak. And so that July 1st, there will be a whole lot of athletes running around in new cars. My hope is that, one, the parent is again, you're asking a teenager to sign into an agreement with an adult for business purposes and gain. Just for me, if you're going to do business with these kids, talk to their parents. Like, just be like a decent human being.
Right.
And talk to the parents. Now, again, a lot of people that will lean away from this are the people that I'm talking about. If you're willing to circumvent the athletic program and the kids' parents to do business with them, you're probably who I'm talking about.
But even some parents who think they're doing the best they can for their kid may not be getting the best deal. The parent may not be getting, because they think, wow, that sounds really cool. I never had that in college. But that may not be the best deal for a Bryce McGowan's, who's going to get offers.
He's going to get offers, and I would imagine that Bobby and Pam McGowan's would have a plan for that. And I would imagine that they will be vocal in anybody that approaches their sons, plural, or their daughter.
But they have business savvy. Not all parents do for their kids.
Again, for the people who have the savvy, they should set the boundary for the people who don't. Like, you protect the meek. If somebody didn't know, look, I found out a little bit more because my brother had gone through the recruiting process before me. So I paid slight attention to it, but I had him to at least lean on. But I didn't, there was no dad in my house. Right. So, and my mother wasn't familiar with it. My mother didn't know. So when I got to college and when a booster comes in and hands you an envelope full of cash
and
you don't have any, what you hope is that the student athlete has enough character to tell another adult that cares about him that, hey, this thing happened, so they can check the process again and make sure it's right. So I got a grandmother that would call in and go, hey, baby, you go to that athletic director, you let them know you got some money. And then if they tell you can keep it, then it's on them.
Right.
But at least do that.
Right.
Like free food. There's no free food. There is no free food. There's no free meals. There's no free lunch. There's no free dinner. Doesn't exist. Have somebody in place. Have things in place that will protect the student athletes because they're the young innocents in this thing. They don't know better. The adults all know. The athletic department knows. The corporations know. The parents know. Set the boundaries in place so the kids at least aren't alone in deep water with sharks.
You're not the only one that's gotten the $100 handshakes. I remember talking to Adrian Fiala. He was getting them in the 60s. I'm sure Johnny Rogers got them all the time. And they don't always go to their parents. They don't always make that call to their parents. Sometimes they've already built the relationship with that local bar owner, and that is a parent or somebody they feel like they can trust, even though they may not be getting the best deal for them. So they think a free hamburger a week or once a day might be the best deal when they can get something better.
There is a partnership in this thing between the University of Nebraska and the student athletes and the families and the NCAA.
Yeah.
Like there's a partnership. There's no island into this thing that nobody gets to work independent of the other. Like that's the beauty. The change in that is that the university really had very few boundary when it comes to revenue flowing in and doing that. Now it's shared revenue, or at least open revenue.
I hope they're doing a really good job of educating these kids. That's what I really hope.
So I did a Zoom call this weekend with the University back east to talk about these very things. And I've got 2 more this weekend just to explain to folks the potholes and the detours that are going to be in play. You have to go through the process to know it. I've been there in those rooms where I've heard the promises made to parents. I heard the promises made to kids. I've heard the universities make their bids. What I want is, and I was there to set another boundary and go, okay, first of all, that's probably not what you want to do. That's probably not legal. You might want to check on that. If you're going to make a decision, you're going to leave yourself a little open to some legality later on. And it was necessary. So yes, I would imagine that the university is going to bring in folks to talk about this stuff. But I would keep it transparent. Like that's the word I'm going to use going forward so that everybody knows what everybody's doing and being accountable for that. And if you're doing it in private, if you're doing it on the low, then you're probably doing it wrong.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting because a lot of these guys are not going to do it correctly. Some of these athletes are not going to do it correctly. There's going to be a learning curve. That's all I'm saying. Right. Let's get to break and come back with the blog jog next.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With 20 years in the financial services industry, Corey Callahan of Heritage Financial Services works with families and businesses to reach their financial goals. Whether it's growing assets, protecting your assets, employee benefits, or business succession planning, Corey can help. Contact Corey Callahan at Heritage Financial Services at 402-432-7378 or on Facebook at Heritage Financial Services-Corey Callahan.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Gather your friends and your coworkers and get ready to play ball. Lincoln Parks and Recreation's fall sports registration is open for adult softball and kickball. All games will start in August with recreational and competitive divisions offered. Softball games are played Sunday through Friday at Mahoney, Holmes, and Ballard Fields, and kickball plays on Sundays at Lewis Ball Field. Register online at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892. That's 441-7892.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training and almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise have earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Your home isn't going to fix itself, and you're busy enough as it is. So let Cornhusker Construction put the work in to upgrade your house. They do everything interior and exterior, including full remodel jobs. Are your kitchen and bathrooms outdated? Cornhusker Construction can help with that with new flooring, painting, drywall, and anything else. Take advantage of their summer sale with 4% off for the rest of the summer. Call in today at 308-708-0709. Cornhusker Construction.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is the Blog Job on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is Blog Jog time. Nick is here and ready to go. Looks like $100.
Now I am. Hello, gentlemen.
How are you?
I'm all right. I was a little flustered there. The headphones, I was a little flustered there for a second, but we figured it out.
You did figure it out. Nice job on your part.
How'd it go yesterday?
It's gone well. We're getting the hang of a 3-hour show is a little different than a 1-hour show.
You think?
And so yeah, it's just a little bit of preparation and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was something that came up that
please tell that story, and you figure out a way to use to describe the word you were called.
So during the What's Poppin' segment or something, a police car and being handcuffed and stuff came up.
Huh.
I was like, you know what? I've never been handcuffed. I said that totally thinking harmlessly and just, not thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just wonder what it's like to commit a crime without the punishment of committing a crime, without having to actually do the time. Like, officer, put me in the handcuffs, like do everything you need to do, like you would do with a normal criminal. Put my head in the police car and everything like that, and then just be like, all right, Nick, you're good. Well, stuff led to other stuff happening, and more information came out about that during the break between Schaefer, Rico, and I. And I understand where I probably messed up and shouldn't have said handcuffed, because that got a lot of reaction on the text line. But I also got called quite a bit of names because I guess I don't live an exciting life because I've never been in the back of a cop car.
There's plenty of time.
The two aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
So just there's that part, but the fact that somebody name called you.
Oh, I mean, and that's the thing is whatever, man. If that makes you happy, that's fine. But
here's the thing: the text line is a means for you to contribute to the show. If you're out there name calling, guess what? That's on you.
I did laugh. I did laugh. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny, but like.
But I'll say this to you: I've been in the back of several cop cars and never once did anything wrong and never once got arrested.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to commit a crime. I'm not trying to do any of that. I would wonder what it's like, what the experience is like.
Oh, it's not as fun as you think.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not.
But I would. There are times where I'd be somewhere out with my friends and I'd tell my mom I'll call her when I need a ride to be picked up, and then she'd get a phone call saying, "Well, he won't need a ride home. We're bringing him home." And the police car pulls up and she's like, well, what's the story? And the general story was, well, he was near a school, or we saw him walking or riding his bike, and some kids were in the high school pool, And we saw your son, and we stopped him and asked him. And it's like, okay, one, was he in the pool? No. Did he jump the fence? No. Was he at the school? No. Then why is he in your car?
No.
Well, we had to check. Well, why didn't you check the right kid? So instead of checking him, that was general standard for that engagement.
Right.
But the fact that you were making good decisions is not a reason to call you a name.
Like I said, I shrugged it off, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like it was
Good
just kind
on
of
you.
funny.
Good on you.
I laughed because
Good on you, man.
If that makes you happy that you want to say that,
Yeah,
whatever, man.
But good on you, man.
I've never been a cop car, but I probably should have been a few times.
24 pack of beer.
I would say, I think my life's kind of exciting. You know, we
You're 20. I think you have some time.
I don't know.
Yes,
We'll see.
no. Stay gold, pony boy. Stay
No,
gold.
I'm not saying get
Stay
arrested.
gold.
I'm just saying
Stay gold,
I
pony
like the
boy.
way Tom thinks.
No.
Stay
I like
gold,
the
pony
way-
boy. I don't do that.
So we'll move on here to a story. A black bear on the loose is on the loose. New York government is asking the public to keep a lookout for a quote completely harmless bear after they escaped.
Was he Yogi Bear? Boo boo. Yay, boo boo.
So the refuge said that the bear is completely harmless, but said do not approach the animal.
Nick, if you just were randomly in your backyard and a bear,
I would not approach it.
Tom,
We saw the video of that lady that you could not stop watching the video
it was
of.
hilarious.
The bear is attacking the dogs, and the lady has to go outside and shoo the bear away.
In flip flops.
And she basically pushes the bear off the ledge.
fence, yeah, off the fence. She puts them off the fence. I'm just that woman was much braver than any of us.
Yeah.
And all of us said
Never.
we would not. We would love our dogs. Would not probably do that.
Sorry, Fluffy.
Sorry.
The bear won.
Yeah.
Sorry,
like-
Fluffy was out there and the bear was there, and I just
immediately
I went
going-
inside.
Immediately going to adopt a puppy. Like that.
Better hope Fluffy had kids.
Right. There's
We went to
something else.
Yellowstone as kids, and the bears would come right up to the window, and they would tell you not to feed the bears, but everybody still did.
Bears are awesome. There's some of those entertainment places and those tours where the bears have been domesticated and you can throw them food. There was one they were showing on social media yesterday. People were throwing them food, and the bear was like Odell Beckham Jr. One palming the pancake or whatever it was.
You say domesticated, but I've seen semi-pro where Jackie wrestles the bear. It never works out very well.
No, but that was actually an ABA thing. That was an
That
actual,
was an ABA thing?
That was an actual ABA promotion. There was several. I believe it was St. Louis where they would bring in the guy with bear wrestle before basketball. Seriously, you can. There's video. That's where they got it from.
That wouldn't be me.
That was an actual thing. The ABA,
No way.
the ABA used bear wrestling as a promotion.
Are we done?
Well, I mean, I'm spending the whole day today just furious that the Cubs did not want to spend $2 million more and keep Kyle Schwarber.
12 home runs in the last 10 games.
16 in the last 18 games.
And he's playing for your Nationals, and they got him for free. Anybody could have gotten him in Major League Baseball.
Second place, 2 games behind the Mets.
I will say that the Cubs will have a very interesting decision to make at the trade deadline.
Anybody else you guys want to get rid of? We have room.
I don't
We have
know.
cap room. We have money.
We'll see.
Yeah,
You-
we have money.
you
We
get-
have some talent in the minor leagues.
That
What do you
GM
think,
would be
Jason Hayward?
fired. He should be. Who's their GM right now? It's
For
Theo's.
the
Theo's
Cubs?
long gone.
Yeah, Theo, because Theo, man, he won with the Red Sox and then the Cubs. MLB was like, "Hey, you come work for us. You get this job."
Timmy Lester's throwing today at 3 o'clock.
That's fine.
You can watch other Cubs.
Do I need to get your Lester and Schwarber Nats jersey? Should I order those now? I will do
Hey,
that.
you
for
know
you.
what?
Just being
I
mean
would
now.
do that.
I
for
would
you.
wear them.
Yeah, I would do that.
If it's Schwarber more than Lester,
Okay.
though.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Schwarber.
Make it happen.
We have to thank Nick because he put the songs together for Tom's 10
A lot
today.
of work today. Bravo. Well done. Good work.
Gracias.
These are songs that would make you change the channel. Although, I self-admittedly, I like a lot of these songs on the list.
Yes, I was going through them and I'm like, I was head bopping.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we? putting this
Because you
on
only
here?
listen to them once.
Yeah.
You didn't have to listen to them the 948 million times they were played when they were popular.
Some of them might be controversial, but we'll do it. Tom's 10 is coming up next.
Follow DP and Stevens on Twitter at Derek Pearson, at 93.7 Tom Stevens. This is the DP and Stevens Show.
Teachers will always find a way to help their students. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Our public school teachers never waver in their work, caring, and advocacy for their students. But we all know that education doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our schools need your involvement and support. Ensure a bright future for our children, our communities, and our state. Support our public schools. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Gather your friends and your coworkers and get ready to play ball. Lincoln Parks and Recreation's fall sports registration is open for adult softball and kickball. All games will start in August with recreational and competitive divisions offered. Softball games are played Sunday through Friday at Mahoney, Holmes, and Ballard Fields, and kickball plays on Sundays at Lewis Ball Field. Register online at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892. That's 441-7892. Early break with Sip and Jake.
Who's the Clemson quarterback? Ukulele.
DJ Uiagalelei.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
Yeah, so he'll unveil something, right? And that'll cause a splash. If Trevor Lawrence was still around, we'd look to see what he's doing.
Can you please try to say the Clemson quarterback again?
Uiagalelei. Well, I don't know. Did you pronounce it right?
I did.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
We're on the road to freedom, America, this week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, celebrating outdoors and independence with extreme bow hunting adventures, thrilling big game pursuits, the rush of big bore air rifles, and the gift of freedom the 4th of July. Joining Jim and Trav is Christian Berg, editor of Peterson's Bow Hunting Magazine, Casey Kiefer, co-host of Humanimal, and Rossi Moriali with American Air Gunner Challenge. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's Ticket to Sports.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect increasing cloud cover with an afternoon high of around 84. We will have a very slight chance of scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Winds out of the east at around 10. Tonight, clearing skies, lows dropping down to around 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high once again near 85. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Sports news go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Mississippi State topped Vanderbilt 13-2 in Game 2 of the CWS Finals last night to set up a Kumar Rocker versus Will Bednar matchup tonight at 6 p.m. in a winner-take-all championship game. Kyle Schwarber stayed hot, mashing a 434-foot home run on the first pitch he saw to hit his 16th dinger in the last 18 games. In addition, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 more long balls last night to build on his major league leading total. The Atlanta Hawks have new hopes as they tied the series up at 2 games apiece last night despite Trae Young out with an injury. The Hawks won 110-88 behind 21 points from Lou Williams. Giannis left the game early due to a hyperextended knee, is getting further testing later today. Tonight, Phoenix travels to Los Angeles to try and close out the Clippers in Game 6. Tip-off from the Staples Center is slated for 8 p.m. And lastly, Serena Williams was forced to retire from Wimbledon after she slipped and fell. It's just the second time in her career she's been forced to retire from a major tournament. For all your latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the DP and Stevens Show, live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Derek Pearson.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Tom Stevens.
I'm listening to you.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center.
I was gonna have Nick put in some Osmonds. Like, let's listen to some Osmonds because we finally connected how much the Brady Bunch band was connected to the Osmonds.
The Silver Platters.
The Silver Platters were just cold remakes of the Osmonds.
The costumes were almost the same as well.
The dance moves were almost the same.
Both had girls in the band.
Or just boys that looked like Osmonds.
That's right.
They had excellent hair.
There you go. I fall for that every time because you were playing the Osmonds earlier, and I thought it was the Jackson 5. That happens all the time with those two bands.
That's the only place that was said in the state of Nebraska was that somebody was listening to the Osmonds today.
Like ABC is the Jackson 5, right?
Right.
But what's the one bad apple? One bad apple sounds like the Jackson 5.
Which also the Jacksons did later.
Oh, no wonder.
Right.
No wonder
this was a rival. This was East Coast versus West Coast rap, except for it was the Jacksons versus the Osmonds.
Yes, and the Jackson 5 were actually good.
The Jacksons won. The Osmonds, no, but we figured out, like, we went through, like, Jake Sorensen got reopened up to the Osmonds and went, that's really good music. Like, what is wrong with us? Why don't we have that kind of music now?
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't answer that other than I think so much of it is just computerized. Like you just play a computer and you've got a song now. You don't play an instrument.
Who would play the Osmonds now? Is that just?
Well, we saw the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. That was 15 years ago.
And there would be no NSYNC without the Osmonds. Like there'd be no Backstreet Boys without.
There'd be no boy bands without the Osmonds.
Well, what were there boy bands before? Who was the first? Were the Beach Boys like the first boy band?
Was that a boy band though, or is that just a band that sang with harmony?
Yes, they did. But then you can't call the Osmonds a boy band because they were actually musicians. They all played instruments.
So the Beach Boys. And
right,
Mike Love didn't. Mike Love didn't do much at all.
Who was the first boy band?
Good point. I don't know.
But the Jackson 5 all played instrument. They all did, even Michael.
No.
So
it had to be the best boy band of all time, right? Jackson 5, number one.
If they're allowed to be in the boy band discussion, then
they have to be in the boy band discussion. So the Osmonds.
But they all played instruments. Boy bands are just pretty and dance and sing.
That is true. Like the Four Tops.
I mean, that's the definition of a boy band, right? That they don't play any instruments; they just dance and sing.
I think of the Four Tops.
But those are grown men.
Those are grown men bands.
Those are grown men.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's not a boy band.
We'll have to figure that out. Somebody text line, help us with what a boy band. The Monkees. But technically they acted like they played instruments. But did they really?
They were a made-for-TV band. They were a band that was created just for the TV show.
The Monkees were probably the first boy band put together solely for making bad music.
And that's kind of the topic of today's 10.
The Beatles, but the Beatles played. They played.
The Beatles were fantastic. They may be the best band period of all time.
So Nick's so young. He said the Backstreet Boys, but you got to remember that the New Kids on the Block were long before. Text line just said that too. New Kids on the Block, the Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Not a boy band. Not a boy band.
That's fantastic. I don't know who you are, but that's funny.
That's very funny. So the 10 today is bad songs that we kind of love in some cases, because I don't want to say songs that you necessarily make you change the channel. Maybe sometimes they do, and other times you sing along.
I will simply tell you whether I change the channel or not.
All right. This is number 10. Would you change the channel on this song?
Oh!
It was Hanson, and they were great in the 90s, but as 40-year-olds, do you want to hear them sing it now? Probably not.
Imagine being 40 and your grandkids are singing Mbop.
They're still performing.
They are.
They are still
they're
performing.
All grown up.
I think it's a catchy tune.
He's doing Running Man.
It's a catchy tune, and sometimes I turn the song up. I don't turn the channel.
I will say this, because of my years in Utah, where they were everything.
They're from Utah?
Yeah, I've heard that song way too much.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be from Utah to have heard that song way too much.
Utah heard it more than everybody else. So just take the number of times you heard it and then multiply it by a state.
Okay, so Hanson is number 10. This is number 9.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Now, that's one you probably heard in the bar business a lot. If the DJ was doing anything that night, he was playing that song.
My DJ was never allowed to play this. Never allowed to play this. I will fire you and call your boss. Get out of my building.
All right. The Rednecks did Cotton Eye Joe. Every time I went to a dance bar, I heard that.
Dirk says, if Love Shack is on your list, I will personally come down there and karate chop you.
Love Shack did not make the list.
Would you change the channel for Love? No, you sing along.
I like the B-52.
Yeah, you sing along.
That's not my favorite B-52 song.
What's your favorite B-52? Rome.
Rome is a great song.
Rome's pretty solid.
What was the one they did with REM?
Anything with REM.
Yeah.
And they were best friends. So, yeah.
I liked the B-52s. Love Shack got overplayed. I'll admit that.
Okay.
This is number 8.
95% of our listeners are singing along.
Here's the thing. Rick Astley had a great voice.
Loved Rick Astley.
And if I could do that like that, I would get up there and karaoke that song to death.
If I could sing like Rick Astley, I would sing it.
Yeah. But remember that whole thing where you would go to a website or go to a particular thing and you get Rickrolled on the web. Then that song would come up.
They would tell you that they're going to play some really cool song or some really cool video, and then boom.
I bet it helped his career. I'm guessing it probably.
But he's back.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's playing some state fair near you.
No, he's been. Well, they did the reunion tour, so all of them like Salt and Pepper and Cure and all those folks are back there. Web Blanket he corrects me. Hanson's from Tulsa, but they had family in Utah, so they would do these fairs almost once a month.
Close enough. Tulsa,
once a month.
What's the difference?
Well, they would do these tours. It was like once a month they would be in Utah. So
this is number 7 on my list.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaking heart. I just don't think you'd understand. And if you tell my heart,
again, what percentage of people are singing this and which people are cringing?
I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
I like that song actually for a while. It's a terrible song, but it's great.
Nick,
it's like
Nick, you have to do the Gladiator thing, thumbs up or thumbs down, to whether you would change thumbs up.
He likes it.
I liked it.
This is one I do not like. Number 6 on my list.
it's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward.
What percentage is against?
I don't know. I just know that I don't like it.
It's so bad that I had to do the neck crack thing to release the stress and tension of the song.
It was overplayed. Rebecca Black did that song.
And then she did several other songs like Saturday and Sunday, and I was just like, okay, come on.
This is one we had a disagreement before the show about this song. You love it. I do not.
It was Phil Collins going cool. Like, because the next thing, like,
how is that cool?
Oh my God, it's a total jam.
All right,
play that again. That is a total jam.
Okay,
give me some more.
You want to go back to
give me some
Studio?
More. Give me some more.
Here we go.
Got a chair dance to that. Air drum. Come on.
That was in that 80s/90s era where every other song was a Phil Collins song. So I guess I just got Phil Collins out between Genesis and his solo stuff. He was on, it seemed like, half of the playlist.
Phil Collins is like Jell-O. There's always room for Phil Collins.
Well, yeah, but he did the cover thing, like Groovy Kind of Love. He started stealing Can't Hurry Love.
Well, yeah, but
he started stealing songs from other artists that were already good.
He was Uncle Phil.
He was Uncle
Phil Collins. He would just come to your house and sing songs that everybody knew.
Yeah.
And everybody was happy.
Well, he was certainly number one. And I heard he's doing a reunion tour. I don't know.
With Genesis.
Is he?
I forget.
I've seen him do the reunion tour in the 90s with Genesis, so it was fantastic.
Genesis, there's some. Becky and I went to dinner with somebody who said they were going. Her and her friends were going to Chicago to see Genesis with Phil Collins.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Like, so I need to track that.
Heidi would love that.
Yeah.
This is number 4 on my list.
alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dale tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Hey. Any song that has a dance that goes with it, I'm out. That you have to perform the dance on command.
Well, no, if it's mass, if it shows up at a ball game and everybody in the stadium's doing the dance,
then you're in.
I'm done.
Well, you're done.
I'm done. Like the moment that,
and that's the wedding scene. You have to do it at every wedding, known to man.
Yeah, if everybody is doing it, it's not unique and it's not good.
Los Del Rio did the Macarena, and it was absolutely enormous.
Claytonia John says Phil Collins is underrated. Sanderson says Phil Collins lost all credibility after that
So
song.
there you go. Controversial.
This is how we roll. Adam, before you go, Adam says as of 2010, Rick Astley only made $12 off Rick rolling.
Seriously.
How's that so? I would imagine
that. I'll donate to the cause.
Right. Like I start a GoFundMe, Rick Astley.
Does he need some money? This is number 3.
Right? Like it falls in once in a moment, a stadium, every stadium, not just a stadium, but every stadium steals the thing and gives it. Like I'm officially a grandfather, so I guess I'm guilty of it. That anytime grandpa and the son are singing together at a baseball stadium, I'm a little concerned.
The Baja Men did that, and I think we were playing it on a country music station back in the day, and we were getting the annoying thing is you would get calls from 10-year-olds nonstop because they love the barking noise.
Drumstick, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
They just love the barking stuff, and so I would get calls from 10-year-old kids nonstop to play that song.
I can see Tom going. Can you play this song? I just played it.
I just played it. I'm not playing it again.
I just played it.
This probably should be number 1 on my list. It was close between number 1 and number 2. This is a terrible song.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
Wow.
Life in plastic. Wow. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair.
Wow.
Let me everywhere.
My neck hurts.
Why didn't some record rep just say no?
Like I can't.
No.
I can't get the that pain in my neck.
No.
Like I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. I had to pop.
It's just terrible, but it was a huge hit by Aqua back in the day.
Where is Aqua?
I don't know.
Have we seen them? Her?
That is a song I will instantly turn the channel on if I hear it.
Like
and I don't think you hear it a lot.
In truth, full disclosure, we were before the show when that song came up and it was on my laptop, I punched my laptop. I literally punched my laptop, knocked it down, and didn't feel bad.
Rightfully so. It's a terrible, terrible song.
Didn't feel
that's done nothing but harm to the communities throughout this world. This has been voted the worst song in rock and roll history many, many times.
I've never heard this to be true, but I'm glad you said
it has. Look at lists. It's always on worst songs lists.
Okay.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
I once introduced
Why
Paul
do you
Cantor
hate
at state.
that so much?
I just think it's a terrible, terrible, and especially the DJ version in the middle of the song where you have the city by the bay, the city that rocks, the city that never stops. I hate that.
It's probably Johnny Holiday.
It is probably Johnny Holiday would say no to that.
No, he's friends with all of them. He's friends with them from the time
like
of the bet.
Starship. I like Starship. I hate that song. I think Starship as a band, it was great. Of course, they started out as Jefferson Starship. Then it became Starship over the years.
Yeah, why
Jefferson? No, it was actually Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, then just Starship.
And never just Airplane.
It was never just Airplane. Or just the Jeffersons or Wheezy.
Wheezy, that would have been perfect.
If they would have just called themselves Wheezy.
If they called themselves the Jefferson, they'd have had a whole new client base.
They would have.
Their fan base would have expanded beyond.
So I considered a lot of other songs.
Okay.
Word Up by Cameo, which I actually
Don't you blaspheme. Don't you dare change channel.
All right. Lady in Red by Krista Berg.
Change the channel.
That's terrible.
Button,
That's really, really bad. Get Out of My Car. And get out of my dreams and in my car.
Was that Billy Ocean?
Billy Ocean. Billy Ocean had a lot of bad songs.
Billy Ocean had a ton of bad songs.
Yes.
Caribbean Queen.
Oh, terrible song.
Caribbean Queen, and people just.
It felt like it was the same song, just done over and over. I mean, wasn't that the last song he did? He just changed the words.
I was like, "Who are you, Billy Ocean? You're a black guy from somewhere else, and we don't know what you're singing about."
I don't get it. I do like REM, but I don't like Shiny Happy People.
Oh, that's a weekend go-to.
I don't like anything from Milli Vanilli, knowing it's not even them.
But don't you have fun with Milli Vanilli? I
feel bad for them.
Like, don't we have
their Grammys taken away?
Well, but they already had like $9 million
That's
by
right.
that time. So
but they hadn't sung any of their songs. It was all lip sync.
Oh, that's
as we
fantastic.
Learned. Let's see. Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl, not a big fan of that.
Yeah. What
Ace of Base, don't like.
Okay, so I told you the story. I tell the listener story. I was engaged back in the day when Ace of Base came out, and my then fiance, a wonderful woman, gorgeous, fun, all the shebangs.
You were,
but
she was your fiance.
She was my fiance.
Okay,
and she would play Ace of Base all the time.
Well, you got to break it off. You have to break it off.
Not some of the time, not like at home. She'd play Ace of Base. In the car, Ace of Base.
Yep.
We reached a point where I just simply said, in my hand to Christ, I said, if you play that one more time, this is over. This is over. She played it one more time. I broke up with her. I broke up with her and never felt bad about it.
He disagrees with Drumstick. Likes We Built the City. Good vibe song. He likes somebody else. Wet Blanket likes the honorable mention songs.
The Dip did not make the list.
The what?
The Dip.
The Dip. No, it didn't make my list.
I dip, you dip, we dip.
I thought about She Bangs by Ricky Martin. Ebony and Ivory.
William
which I didn't
Hung,
love.
I changed the channel. Ricky Martin, I don't change the channel.
Ricky Martin's a great singer.
Ricky Martin, anything. Well, what's Ricky's hit?
What was his song? It was Livin' La Vida Loca.
La Vida Loca. That was one that also got overplayed, but I still love it. Like, if you put it on right now, I'd be fine.
Others I thought about Brand New Key by Melanie.
Oh, that should be on the list.
Charlene, I've Never Been to Me is a terrible, terrible song. Feelings by Morris Albert is awful. Rock Me Amadeus by Falco. Terrible.
Really? That's kind of a jam.
You like it. What about the Pina Colada song Escape by Rupert Holmes? Do you like that song?
Okay, so that was one of my mom's favorite songs. She would sing it and so again, my house was kind of the house where kids could come and hang out. And when we reached for my 21st birthday, she invited some friends of mine. They were all girls, and she invited them to my house, and she laid out the entire kitchen for margaritas. So we had 3 blenders and whatever booze and mixings and whatever else. And then in the kitchen, the girls were singing If You Like Pina Coladas, because that's what they were making. And my mom jumped into the middle of it. And here's this black woman.
She started singing that song.
So singing it with these 8 white girls, and it was who were half her age.
Yeah.
And it was to this day, it's one of my favorite moments of my mother.
It just blew up.
It was one of my favorite
all singing
moments.
together.
They were all singing it together. It was fantastic. And my mother didn't know the song, but she just started singing it.
That's one of those songs. It's not a great song, but I do like the song. Wildfire, which mentions Nebraska, Michael Martin Murphy. I put that on Olivia Newton-John. There's a few there.
Alanis Morissette, but I think Ironic is closer to that than Hand in My Pocket.
I like Hand in My Pocket.
Hand in My Pocket, yeah. Although maybe the way she sang it, maybe it made it a little less than.
Somebody says their 6-year-old daughter is singing all the songs in the car. I was singing all the time.
You should play more of them.
Again, some of these songs I really dug. I mean, I like, but they're bad songs.
Or they were overplayed.
Right.
Ad nauseum.
You got to the point where they were just played so much you didn't want to play them again.
I'm done. Yeah, that's good.
All right, good stuff. That was fun. Everett Gray. We'll talk a little NBA. What did he think about what's happening in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals. Game 6 is tonight.
Coming up.
We'll talk about it with Everett next.
More of the DP and Steven Show is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Koppel wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelley Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at koppelcars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Rider, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, who are vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
Back to the DP and Steven Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I want to thank our buddy Joe Davis from Ambition Electric. Just stopped by with some garden goodies. The largest head of cabbage ever. It's huge.
Right. He gave you healthy food and you gave him
Entenmann's cupcakes, chocolate cupcakes. It's a fair deal.
Seems like a fair trade.
Well, no, actually what I did and again, remember I had the authentic bases from ballparks across the country.
Right.
And one of the ones that I had, again, I don't have a place to put them here.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than creating a place and doing all that, I've donated them to people who love the place where the base was from. And Joe and his family, they're Cub fans.
Yeah.
And so
we'll forgive him for that, I guess.
But I had a base from Wrigley Field, first base, and Joe's doing work on his backyard, working on his porch, and on his patio.
That's
I'm
cool.
Like, go put it there. Give it a good home.
We're gonna have Lance Harvell on. You gave him something similar
from the Astros.
Yeah, that's cool.
Rico, if Rico could ever get it together, I've got the pitcher's mound from Yankee Stadium. I'm not sure where, but he needs a yard to put this in. But it's the pitcher's mound from Yankee Stadium, but it's got the full concrete slab that goes under the dirt, so it takes 3 men to lift it.
I would like part of the fountain from Royal Stadium if you can arrange that.
If I can arrange that,
and I'll install that in the backyard somewhere.
Hey man, I understand. Let's bring him in. It's funny. So every now and then, Everett will post something. So this is Everett's senior year of high school, and this is in this era of Billy Owens. There's some names. Sean Kemp. There's some names. Alonzo Mourning. That Everett Gray, as a senior, I'm 29 points a game.
He's a stud.
29 and 18.
29
and the 18 might be more impressive than the 29.
29 and 18.
And 5 blocks. 5 assists.
I mean, this is in the Ronald Curry. It's like there's some dudes in this class. LaFonso Ellis. There's some Damon Sweet. Okay, Everett Gray.
The thing is that, the crazy part, D, I don't really talk about my career, especially my kids I coach, until they look it up. And they were like, you didn't tell me that. I'm like, why do I need to tell you that? No. But, and I show them a couple clips here. I mean, I saw some newspaper articles that my mom, your mom always had a scrapbook, that DP.
Yep.
And sometimes you didn't know what she was keeping, but, until she moves on. But it was one situation, 1 week, I was a prep athlete of the week, and I averaged about 30, 20, and 10. And I tell the kids, I didn't make any threes in high school. I didn't make 1 3. I shot 10 threes in high school. I missed all 10. So I wasn't that guy, but I had a motor and I rebounded the ball. You would have to box me out every time. So, but I don't really talk about it to my kids. But and sometimes, during the pandemic, you go back and people start sending you stuff random because DP and Tom knows. I mean, DP knows this, that people send me stuff from UNLV to sign. I have to be careful sometimes because people try to make money off you, even to this date. I mean, I get it probably twice a month. I have to send some stuff back, and then I'll sign it and send it back. But it's a waste of time talking about what I did. It's about what you need to do.
As the game changes, as the way the game, the business behind the game is being done. Tom and I were talking about trying to figure out what's going to be the right way to deal with this student athlete endorsement situation. Because whatever you do on a college level, if they don't get this right, it's going to hit the high school game immediately following.
Right.
And if it's not done right, like I said this thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if they're going to do this, that the parents have to be a part of the process.
Right. Well, I think you and I talked about it's a lot of moving parts to this, CP and Tom, because at one point, I think it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to the university is going to have to hire a tax person because you got to be able to protect these kids. If you're making money on your likeness, you don't want to have student debt along with Uncle Sam on your neck.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff. I thought about, these schools, especially these Power 5 schools, with these guys making a lot of money off their license. They're going to have somebody helping them with their taxes and making sure they cover their eyes, dotting their I's and crossing their T's. But I think it's about time these kids to start making money off their likeness. I wish it would have happened when I was in school because, my jersey was in the student union, and Larry and Stacy and all those other guys would have been making probably a good chunk of money off their likeness. Now, I don't know what this means. Can you do endorsements?
Yep.
Can you? Wow. So that's going to be interesting because I think every university is tied to a car dealership. And that's going to be a problem, DP. There's going to be like dudes going to be like, I don't want to go to the league. For what? I could just stay in college. But it's going to be very interesting because some of these dudes will be taking a pay cut going to the NBA if they're going to be getting endorsement deals from boosters because there are some guys with some money in these boosters.
Yeah, obviously could have made a ton of money with autograph signings and doing commercials or whatever in college. Did you ever calculate in your head what we could have made? Because that was one of the best teams in the history of college basketball.
Yeah, we had to do signings every, I think after every game. And, you sit there, they capped it at a number, but I started thinking, I'm like, dude, if we're charging the school, because you're going to have to charge, hey, if you want me to sign this is going to be kind of crazy too. You're going to be like, hey, if you want me to sign, the school's got to pay me to sit here for an hour. So I was thinking I could have made some bread off doing this, but it's just I don't know how they're gonna control this. But it's gonna be dudes like I'm just gonna stay in school for 4 years, and I'll graduate with a lot of money in my account, and I can't wait for these drafts now. These dudes gonna be rolling up in Bentleys, and be like, this is paid off by me.
How are you going to deal with it as a high school athletic director and a coach? That this is going to hit the game. Like, we know that in some areas of the country and some programs where those student athletes have value, and these deals are going to start happening. They're going to hit high schools. We know that, right?
Right. I think it's already hitting high school, especially these top 20 kids that's coming out. And they can start making money as soon as they sign. DP is so much stuff they're gonna have to. As soon as they sign, their letter of intent. They're literally, part of the school, so they can go out and start making money. And those top 20 kids or those top 10, those McDonald's All-Americans, those guys are gonna be. Their prom pictures are gonna be looking nice. They're gonna be having gold chains. It's gonna be crazy, DP. Because once they sign, I don't know how that started. You have to, as soon as you enroll at the school, you can start going, and I know one thing, if that's the case, if I can start making money off my likeness, DP, I'm starting school early. Why not?
Right.
I want to graduate from high school early in January and start getting bread, get my bag up. I'm thinking, I know I would tell my kids, hey, listen, graduate early and start making money.
Yeah.
While you were going to school. So I know I would encourage my kids to graduate early. Why would you wait till May or whenever most high schools graduate? Why would you do that? So I don't know how they're going to control this. It's just I don't know how they're going to control it because there's a lot of moving parts, and I'm already thinking how to help my kid because I know what I would do.
Everett Gray is our guest, played on some of those great UNLV teams for Tarkanian and in the NBA as well. DP has already been asked by some parents, what do I do? Name, image, and likeness is coming. Have you had a chance to talk to parents and the kids about what's coming?
No, because I don't know all the rules. Once I know all the rules, then boom, I'm in it. And, once I get the rules with me, I can't really make any decisions until they make the rules. And if they said that it's like the Wild Wild West, I'm like, go get what you can get. There's no rules. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to make sure you have everything documented. But hey, if they have no rules to it, go out there and commit early, sign early, graduate early, and start. Get to school early where you can start making money. And I think it's going to change a little bit because this is when they need to let kids go to the NBA now. If they're doing this, if you're 18, after you graduate from high school, they should get rid of the one and done rule. Because DP, it's bull. All they do is go to school for one semester, and they're out, and it's just ridiculous at this point. So I think they should get rid of that one and done rule if they're going to do with this rule, this new rule where these kids are making money off their likeness.
From our text line said the kind of influence that Everett and his guys had on the sports world. In 1991, a baseball club was founded in Lincoln, Nebraska, and took the name Rebels. 30 years later, they still use that name and call Major League Baseball, so multiple College World Series participants alumni. That's a pretty powerful statement. That's a great look. That's good stuff. And that's from one of our listeners. That's what Blanket. He talks about. He loved that program and the squad that you're on. I'll ask you this because there were perks to being a part of that program, and there were benefits to being a part of that program. Who of that group was it? Larry Johnson who would have made the most money? Was it Ogman? Was it Greg Anthony? Who was it?
So it would have been a toss-up between Greg and Larry, because Stacy is real quiet. Stacy is a real quiet guy, and everybody knows that, especially that's close to him. But Larry and Stacy, with his big personality, especially Larry, and it was proven with the whole Grandmama campaign with Converse. So I think he would have made a lot of more money outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. But Greg, in being a hometown hero, he would have made more money than Greg. Stacy would have, Larry would have had a bigger like broad base of advertisers reaching out to him. But it's a lot of money in Las Vegas, because back then, DP, it's not corporate back then. It was one guy that owned the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Steve Wynn, you can go to the Binions. It was one person that owned, and it wasn't this corporate thing. So don't tell him how much money Greg would have made through just a couple of guys that billionaires that own the Wins and those type of guys would have been taking care of Greg, because he was a hometown hero, came back, won a national championship. He would have been that guy. He would have made more money than Larry, but Larry would have had more opportunities outside of Nevada.
It's going to be interesting because guys are going to be driving cars. You would have been doing that, maybe doing commercials for casinos if they would have let you. I mean, that would have been crazy. Let's shift to the NBA. Last night, the Hawks tie it. You said the healthiest team is going to win it. Well, that seems to be the Suns. Are you picking the Suns now?
Well, I'm so disappointed. They didn't play well the other night, and I was expecting them to close them out, but they're the most healthiest team. And I told you guys it's going to come down to health. I heard what Shaq said, and I heard what LeBron said, and I kind of agree with both of them a little bit. But the thing is that the wear and tear on these guys is starting to catch up, and this is the product you're getting because of the back-to-back season. So I think Phoenix is the healthiest. Hopefully they can go in and be focused, because I don't think they were focused. I just thought they thought the Clippers were going to lay over and let them win that game. But I really think that this series is going 7, DP. And I think pay attention to Pat Bev and Chris Paul in this next game.
It's going to be a brawl. I think there'll be, Beverly will try to get Chris Paul out of the game. He'll take the sacrifice. He'll fall on the grenade and make it weird. But it's the same thing that happened last night with Milwaukee with no Trae Young. Atlanta had to go to the purest form of their offense, which was the rules apply, space cut, get into the middle, make somebody commit, go to the open shooter and go, rather than somebody with ball handling. As a coach, isn't that more difficult when the star player's out and then you have to kind of go, well, wow, everything that we've game planned, every tendency that we've checked, they no longer use, and now we're at a disadvantage?
No, the thing is that, DP, I think your question is, me personally, with your question is, do you relax when you know their star player is not playing? And I really think they relaxed when they know Trae wasn't playing. And those other guys, Lou was probably tired when he woke up this morning, because normally he's a certain amount of minutes. But Lou can hoop. Lou can play. I mean, and the thing is that it wasn't that much drop off at the point guard, because he had 21 and 8 or 23 and 8. And the thing is that people guys, even though they're vets and make a lot of money, they still relax a little bit. I've been there before, DP ain't batting today, or he's not playing running back. I'm kind of chill. But that next guy is ready to play. So you can't take anybody for granted. The thing is that the way I would have motivated those guys, like, listen, if we close these guys out, we get the rest. This is what you need. You need the rest, especially nowadays. Now look what happened. Now Giannis has got a hyperextended knee. I've been there before. Sometimes you can play, sometimes you can't. The way he plays is going to be hard for him to play with a hyperextended knee. But if he was just like a spot up shooter and some that, he can probably play 25 minutes. But the way he plays, he needs to be 100%, at least close to 100%. So that was bad on their fault, on their case. And Chris Middleton needs to play better, man. He shouldn't be 6 for whatever he was, 6 for 21 or 6 for 17 for 16 points. That wasn't a good look. So hopefully they can bounce back, but they're gonna. Trey might play in this next game, but I've been with the bone bruise on your ankles, toes hurt.
I would say this, that when you are up big and the star player isn't playing, Atlanta has some really cool local folk dancing place with chicken wings that will take your legs away. And that's what happened to the Milwaukee Bucks, man. They went to Magic City and showed out. And all of a sudden now it's like, oh,
allegedly.
Why they were.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't know. I can find out, Tom. I can make a phone call and find out were they really up in there. I just can't imagine with this new era and what's on the line for these guys. I can't even imagine if the core guys went out because everybody has a cell phone in this era and they got a camera on their phone. And I just can't imagine. They just didn't play well.
It's the wings. It's the wings, Everett. Those wings, man.
You can have those delivered. Or you can have one of your boys go pick it up.
Look, you're being logical. There's nothing logical about NBA players and their resistance to Magic City. That's just.
Hey, I can tell you a story. I've been there before. Who was I with? I was in New Jersey. But the thing is that we was in Atlanta for 2 days. We flew in early. You should have saw everybody. They was giddy as heck. The thing is that here's the crazy part, Tom. It is a hot tub inside of Atlanta City, Magic City. I was like, what? It's a hot tub. So it was me, Yinka Dari, and it was a couple of the cats that went in there. I was like, what is a hot tub? In the spot?
That's
man,
crazy.
Like I said, one day you and I are going to do sports radio after dark. We're going to tell all the business.
The crazy part, there's 600 Mercedes Benz in the employee parking lot. This is what I'm talking about. They are making bread.
They're making real cash. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
Yep.
Thanks, Everett. Everett Gray. Man, if he could write all that stuff down.
I'm just saying there's stories, man.
He has. How much would he have benefited? He and Larry Johnson, Greg Ogden, some of those guys from name, image, and likeness. Wow,
that Vegas thing.
It'd have been crazy.
It was crazy anyway. Before we get to Wingman, I would say this. Imagine that a year from now, Nebraska's recruiting and being able to keep people from the state of Nebraska in with the associations and sponsorships and benefits of businesses in the area.
Yep.
Ponder that over the break.
They're already recruiting at a high level, and don't think for a moment they aren't selling name, image, and likeness, because they are. Let's get to break and come back with Wingman. Love to hear from you. 464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. It's Wednesday. That means What's the Hook Wednesday with Rico. Today, he'll act out or sing a song or do something crazy. We'll find out next.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No doubt about it, a water softener saves you money. Don't have one? Call the plumbers at Bryant. Just one call and no arm-twisting contracts. For a free estimate, call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Who's the Clemson quarterback? Ukulele. Ukulele.
DJ Uyangalele.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
Yeah, so he'll unveil something, right? And that'll cause a splash. If Trevor Lawrence was still around, we'd look to see what he's doing.
Can you please try to say the Clemson quarterback again?
Ungangalele. Well, I don't know. Did you pronounce it right?
I did.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Expect increasing cloud cover with an afternoon high of around 84. We will have a very slight chance of scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Winds out of the east at around 10. Tonight, clearing skies. Lows dropping down to around 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high once again near 85. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Fall is football season, and Lincoln Parks and Recreation has the official NFL flag football season for all kids from kindergarten through 8th grade. It's a fun 5-on-5 co-ed format with no blocking, and all players are eligible receivers. Every player gets an official NFL reversible team jersey and flags that they can keep. Space is limited in the league, and need-based scholarships are available. Register today at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Koppel wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelly Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at koppelcars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Ramey and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Now's the time to call the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So you can go get chickens. Toya.
Yardbird.
All right. It's What's the Hook Wednesday. Rico is here acting out a song or singing a song maybe today.
I am not singing because I do not want to kill anyone.
Would you describe yourself as a bad singer?
Yes.
There will be no listeners harmed in the singing of the song.
I used to be a good singer, and then I hit puberty, and then it was just bad.
It was just bad.
It was just
so
bad.
You were really good, and then puberty hit.
I was in the church choir. I was in choir in school. Wow. I had a solo in school for a couple concerts, and then I got to like 6th grade, 7th grade, and
Peter
I was
Brady.
like, I'm
Rico
joining the band.
Rico is Puerto Rican for Peter Brady.
That's right.
I was like, I am joining the band because this is not going to work anymore. Changes.
All right. Action.
Oh, hold on. I lost it. I didn't really lose it, but
Okay,
I have
refocus, and now action.
Hey, pretty baby with the high heels on. You give me fever like I've never, ever known. You're just a product of loveliness. I like the groove of your walk, your talk, your dress. I feel your fever from miles around. I'll pick you up in my car and we'll paint the town. Just kiss me, baby, and tell me twice that you're the one for me.
You could have done it sexier, but that was pretty good.
No sexy to it. Just read it.
Rico's like, it's too much.
Because I can't.
Well, one, you're looking at us.
Come anywhere. I don't want to do that.
Like, you probably shouldn't do that looking at us.
Do you want me to read that sexy while looking at you, Tom?
No, not looking at me, but I want to hear a little
Hey, Tom,
enthusiasm.
Tom, look at me. I like the groove of your walk.
Oh, now, please go back to the other voice.
You're tall.
Don't look away.
You're
It's like looking at the sun.
I feel your fever.
Let's see if
miles
okay,
around.
that's enough. Let's see if Gary knows. Hi, Gary.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
We're good. Did Rico do it for you?
It's yeah, he kind of did. I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Thanks, Gary. Nicely done.
Gary's going straight to therapy. He's going straight to therapy, man.
I've got to hear Michael and Michael quickly.
Okay.
He was a genius.
And we both hit the move. We both hit the move.
The Way You Make Me Feel, of course, was the next line, and that was the name of the song.
Kiki.
I don't think I could take another edition of that. But Rico will be back tomorrow for something even more special.
Who knows? Not me. That's what makes it fun.
Who knows?
Lance Harvell is always good. We'll talk to him about the new recruit and other things going on. And I know he said he was on his way to the College World Series last time we talked to him. So we'll talk to him about that next.
Follow DP and Stevens on Twitter at Derek Pearson, at 93.7 Tom Stevens. This is the DP and Stevens Show.
We're on the road to freedom, America, this week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, celebrating outdoors and independence with extreme bow hunting adventures, thrilling big game pursuits, the rush of big bore air rifles, and the gift of freedom the 4th of July. Joining Jim and Trav is Christian Berg, editor of Peterson's Bow Hunting Magazine, Casey Kiefer, co-host of Humanimal, and Rossi Moriali with American Air Gunner Challenge. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's Ticket to Sports.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Hey guys, it's Nick and Big Sky.
What's up?
Join us every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. for our new show, The Student Section,
where we will break down the biggest sports news of the week from a college student's perspective and bring on a local student athlete who's made our honor roll with exceptional performance in and out of the game.
The Student Section, every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Coppell wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelley Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at CoppellCars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. At Southeast Community College, we have more than 50 programs of study to choose from, and our class sizes allow for more personal attention and a comfortable learning environment. Take a tour of our 3 campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or visit the Career Advising Center if you're not sure where to begin. The fall semester starts August 23rd. Go to southeast.edu/academics to find your next step. SCC, your path to possible.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Brokers Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Brokers Insurance Agency name. Brokers Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Mississippi State topped Vanderbilt 13-2 in Game 2 of the CWS Finals last night to set up a Kumar Rocker versus Will Bednar matchup tonight at 6 p.m. in a winner-take-all championship game. Kyle Schwarber stayed hot, mashing a 434-foot home run on the first pitch he saw to hit his 16th dinger in the last 18 games. In addition, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 more long balls last night to build on his major league leading total. The Atlanta Hawks have new hopes as they tied the series up at 2 games apiece last night despite Trae Young out with an injury. The Hawks won 110-88 behind 21 points from Lou Williams. Giannis left the game early due to a hyperextended knee, is getting further testing later today. Tonight, Phoenix travels to Los Angeles to try and close out the Clippers in Game 6. Tip-off from the Staples Center is slated for 8 p.m. And lastly, Serena Williams was forced to retire from Wimbledon after she slipped and fell. It's just the second time in her career she's been forced to retire from a major tournament. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the DP and Stevens Show, live from the Coppell Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Derek Pearson.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Tom Stevens.
I must break you.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center.
Don't care. We're going to play baseball. That's it.
2-2 to Hallmark. Swings and hits one in the air. Deep left center field. Going back is Christian Franklin. And this one off the batter's eye and gone for a home run. Great stop at second base. The toss out at second. Cam Chick has done it with the bat. Here he does it with the glove.
It's the moment. This is major. This is 10 toes down on the pavement.
The curtain opens, the smoke clears, and there stands.
There he appears.
Lance Harvell.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain. He's got the pyrotechnics going behind him. He's flexing. Now he gets his strut down to the ring, and it's a full strut.
Yeah.
It's a full strut. Like, this is the strut that he uses after a 6-run inning.
That's right.
Right, from third to the dugout where it's like, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Let's bring in Lance Harvell, Husker baseball assistant coach. How you doing today?
What's up? It'd be more like a 6-run inning and strutting back on, why didn't we score 7?
That's right.
Like whoever made the last out. You know,
right.
Come on, you cost me. Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
deal. Heard you got a car full today. What in the world?
So yeah, I think introductions are in order here. So sitting next to me in the car, we're picking up Coach Christie at the airport. So coming off the top rope as soon as he gets his keys turned in will be the one and only Jeff Christie, and then sitting next to me, and he's been called the songbird of his generation. El Diablo, my partner in crime across the first base coach extraordinaire, Danny Marcuzzo. What's
going on, guys?
Oh, it's long overdue. We will send help later. We will send over whatever treats. All I need is shirt sizes so we can get you in the proper gear and get you guys all lined up. We're worried about you guys because it seems like you're having too much fun in this off season. What's going on? Is there any work being done?
Nobody's ever accused us of having too much fun. I don't even know what that would even look like, to be honest. Yeah, no, there's a lot. See, the fun is in the work. The fun is in the grind right now. This is the time of year when we really shine. The season and what everybody sees on game days and all that kind of stuff. That's the easy part for us. That's when we get to put our feet up and relax a little bit. Now is when we're out grinding and hitting the roadways and making phone calls and sending emails and all kinds of stuff. And this is the thrill of the chase right now, and prime recruiting season is on, and this is the fun part.
Hey, the other thing I'll say to that too is Coach Harvell is a much better recruiter than he is golfer, and we played much more golf last year with all the downtime, and our meetings revolved around there instead of baseball field since we weren't able to get out on the road. So I know he's enjoying his summer better so far because he's much better at recruiting.
No, I have to, but Coach, I have to let you know that our Tom Stevens has privately challenged you all. Like he's waiting to get you guys.
Let's go.
Well, he might be biting off more than he can chew because it's going to be 4-on-1.
I'm always a little
we
concerned.
Scramble pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying I could. I can hold my own, but we'll get Sorensen on my team and we'll see what happens. But I'm always a little concerned if coaches are really good golfers anyway. It seems.
Let's just say we got a few hybrids in our bag, and so there's some 2-irons.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
slowly back away.
I'll
Tom.
get you
back away. Back away,
No,
Tom.
I'll get him on my track. I'll get him on my turf, and we'll be good.
Okay.
You guys did pick up a commit. Can you talk about it yet? Because he's signed, right?
He is not signed yet.
Okay,
We
so you
can't
can't
talk about it.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll save that for next
But
week.
even if we could, you're asking the wrong guy because Coach Christie was the point man on that one from start to finish, and he got it going. He put in the legwork and he closed the deal, and so he would be the guy to ask anyway. But he's still turning in his car keys at the car rental return.
Coach, it's always a wonderful trend when I notice multiple sport athletes being recruited, especially in those middle field positions, that those guys tend to do better and seem to fit in more naturally to that. Is that a thing that you've talked about before, that you pay attention to it? But is that becoming a focus where you want multiple sport guys who just happen to excel at baseball?
Yeah, it's not a hard and fast rule, but we do like it when it's kind of presented, I guess, or you see that a guy plays multiple sports. I know we've talked about it before, just because there's a different level of athleticism there. There's a different level of development. There's a different kind of compete that guys have, and so when you're trying to coach those kids, it just seems like those guys, they tend to make adjustments faster and easier. And they've just kind of been in multiple, just kind of different arenas of competition. And so, yeah, it's always a bonus. It's not something that we necessarily put out there as a rule that we won't recruit you if you don't play multiple sports. But I think it does help guys for sure.
Lance Harvell is our guest, Nebraska baseball assistant. I want to talk to you about this because they're on a record home run pace at the College World Series. I know you've had a chance to check it out. Vandy and Mississippi State, Game 3 tonight. What do you make of that, knowing the bats have been deadened in the past? What's going on with the home run balls?
Yeah, I think you'd have to look at the balls first and see what's going on. I think there's been some coverage of it already by some of the ESPN crew or on social media, whatever that's covering the College World Series. But the balls are a little bit different, maybe wound a little tighter, maybe juiced a little bit, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, just the number of home runs in the postseason the record was broken either during or maybe even before the Super Regional. I mean, it was just they've been flying, the entire time. So I don't know. I don't know that it's anything with the bats, to be honest, because I know the bats go through some pretty strict and stringent testing, and they have all year. So I would look at the baseballs and see, maybe the seams are a little bit lower on them, or maybe they're just wound a little tighter. Not sure. And I do got to tell you guys now, joining us from hot off the recruiting trail is Jeff Christie.
Welcome.
You guys got some kind of applause sound?
Yeah. Oh no. This is natural. This is natural. It's natural.
Let him hear it.
Yeah, it's natural.
It was the deal.
Yeah, no, it's there. I'm just trying to figure out now who the best looking guy in the car is. That's like basic stuff that the listeners need to know, or at least who thinks they're the best looking guy in the car.
That's a different conversation.
That's a tough crew now to be to be rolling that. Hey, speaking of too, we're going to need to get some consistency here with the Twitter graphic for the show. The bio profile pic or whatever that's on there, the suit and tie pic. That's not going to cut it. I like the picture from the field. It kind of shows me in my element, not the suit and tie guy. That's a brutal pick.
When you see, sometimes you have to. We're portraying professional.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the rugged in-season. Hey, hat on, hard hat on. We're all about that work and that business. We will correct that, sir. We will correct that. We will correct that immediately. As a matter of fact, we'll probably use you in studio pictures from this point forward.
Okay.
Does that work?
Anything but that. Anything but the buttoned up look, because the point is to try to drum up business, right? I mean, the point is to try to get people to listen.
Well, send your list of demands for the show when you make your appearance, and we'll get all of that corrected.
He's got a writer now. Like he
right.
like before that. Look, I need M&Ms. I need the perfect M&Ms, the right beverage. What is the beverage of choice, sir? So we
now that he's a star, he's unreasonable. He's completely unreasonable.
It's like the Ozzy Osbourne, the scene in Wayne's World when he's got he has to have the brown M&Ms. It's part of his of his request or whatever, and they've got to kill the Bengal tiger in the candy shop.
You just have to let us know what's required, and then we will handle it. So now you've got a car full, and you've got some representation. I mean, a 2005 World Series athlete, a guy that's been through it. And now,
and the 2006 Lifter of the Year. Don't forget that.
Hello.
Wow.
Okay. Full credit. We got it.
And then there's Danny.
Look. I've joked with you. I've told you that. Listen, you guys need to have your own show. This comedy troupe needs to be on. Look, there's no reason why you guys don't have your own show.
Absolutely. In the car with
we
Lance.
do. It's called Husker Baseball. That's right.
Well, we're gonna pitch that. We've been talking all day about name and likeness and how it's going to affect athletic departments, programs, coaches. Now, for coaches, this becomes for all of you recruiters and the guys who have to kind of keep track of the sanity of your student athletes. This is the wild, wild west that's about to go live July 1st. How are you guys going to handle this? How are you guys going to approach this? Is it more the sell that, hey, listen, Nebraska does this as well as anybody in the country? Or is it a little bit of concern that, listen, now folks are really going to have their hand out and their palm up looking for a way to get advantage?
Yeah, that is a great question. And I don't know that I've got the answer to it, because I think it's going to play itself out. But I think you kind of like, this is a extremely slippery slope with this deal, with this name, image, and likeness thing being open and athletes being able to basically make money off their brand. I think really, at least in the short run right now, you have to kind of think of it like anything else, like when anything else that you're trying to sell about your program, because when guys come in on visits and they see all the bells and whistles, the facilities that we have, the resources that we have, the people that we have in place here that's going to, help them in their career. I tell guys when they come in, I say, look, you're going to be impressed with everything that you see. It's top notch. It's as good as there is in the country. But take it all with a grain of salt, because none of that stuff is going to help you, when you're down and on the field, off the field, whatever. Like if you're struggling hitting, like, a nice stadium and 8,000 fans in the stands aren't gonna help you through a slump. If you can't figure out how to stop hanging your breaking ball, like the training table that's best in the country isn't going to help you. Like none of that stuff. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, going to a football game with 90,000 people, and all, like, so the people are what makes the place. And so, that's what we sell more than anything. And what I feel like we do a good job of, and what guys really buy into, because you're going to become what you attract. And if you're trying to sell that aspect of it or any aspect like that, then you're going to get players in your program that's what they're worried about. That's what's important to them. And for me, if that's what's important to guys, then this maybe isn't the best place for them, regardless of how well we do it. If they're not about just punching the card every day and rolling their sleeves up and going to work and competing and wanting to win and being a good teammate, they're more worried about their likes on Twitter or whatever it may be, or how many 10-cent favorites they're getting a day, and that's what they're worried about. So instead of going and hitting the batting cage after practice, they're more concerned with drafting a tweet or something. This may not be the place for you. It's going to be part of it. I don't think we're going to get away from it, but we're going to have to learn. All of us are going to have to learn now that this thing is here, how to handle it and manage it. And if guys, they can't be consumed with that. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky deal. Like this is an aspect of our job now that nobody knows how. Nobody has ever done it before. So everybody's going to kind of be learning on the fly with this thing.
We were talking earlier, and we were talking this week about scheduling, and as we talk about other programs and the strength of schedule and who gets who plays who and why it's set up that way. The discussion was two-sided. Do you want those those Tuesday, Wednesday games where you're playing against teams with less talent? They help you build up. They let you work on things. But the recruiting kind of counts on the matinee games, the big marquee games, the bright light game. Which side, or which ones are more important? I mean, if you get the opportunity to go play Texas, that means more to you in recruiting than it does if you're playing Little Rock, Arkansas.
Right. Yeah, that's a balancing act too, with the schedule. And yeah, you kind of have to, again, that's with the RPI, and how to, that's almost like a game within the game too. That's a competition amongst itself, is how to schedule to make sure that you're still being competitive, and that you're putting your team in the best position to not only win games and get those wins, but to be able to host a regional, and or to get into the postseason number one, or to host a regional, because it is a factor that the committee looks at. So, yeah, that's one you got to kind of balance, because you gotta have a competitive enough schedule with good enough games or good enough opponents in some of those marquee games that, but then you have to balance that with, you can't just load up your whole schedule with like top 10 opponents.
Right.
You gotta have the some games in there that not that they're a cupcake, nothing like that, but it's just you got to have some games that you feel good about getting younger players in there, so that they can kind of continue in their development. Now, that was one thing we missed this year, just not having non-conference games. Period, was some of these younger guys who missed out on the year last year, or maybe didn't get to play or played limited. time their senior year or wherever they came from, they didn't have those games to kind of help get innings or at bats under their belt and get a little playing time in there to help with their development. So you got to have them. It's just crafting a schedule is an art. So we try to do it to where obviously the weather factor, in February here plays in. So we're going to be on the road at least the first 2 weeks of the season, going down, whether it's Texas or California or wherever, some warmer weather place. And then, then you kind of you want to make sure you have a home series before conference starts, usually either early March, something like that. So it's a whole kind of process. I'm sure somebody could make an algorithm on how to draft the perfect schedule. They'd make a lot of money.
Nebraska assistant baseball coach Lance Harvell, our guest. What's your take on what happened with North Carolina State? I know you compared them to Nebraska, and they were the Cinderella story, really, of the College World Series. They had to go home due to COVID protocols. But what happened to North Carolina State and the College World Series in general? What's your take on how it's been going?
Yeah. It made me absolutely sick, to be quite honest. And I'm sick for them and those kids. Being on this side of it, knowing how much time and work they put in, how hard it was to get to the point that they were at, and just to kind of have it ripped away. I don't have all the facts. I know there's stuff. It seems like there's new information coming out every day, from different people's accounts of it and what actually happened. But just to have that happen for whatever reason, I mean, you see it, if it's even on an individual level where, maybe a kid gets hurt, in a game like that, it makes you sick to see it. And then when you see just a whole team kind of have their season ripped away like that, it's tough. And it's not fair, but again, nothing, nobody ever said anything was. And I know, our job as coaches ultimately is to prepare guys for life, and that's, I'm sure they're using that. Those coaches there are using that as a teaching moment. It's like, it doesn't take away from anything we did, and it's not fair, but, what are you going to do? You've got to deal with it and move on. You're going to face tougher things in life. There's a lot of tougher things in life that you hopefully don't, but might have to face. And so you gotta use it, man. That's part of just development and growing up, becoming a man, is facing those things and learning how to at least see maybe a silver lining or take a positive from it and learn from it to help prepare yourself down the road, or maybe you help somebody else going through something down the road because of it. But yeah, it made me absolutely sick what happened to them.
Coach, we were talking about it earlier, and it seems to me like football championship Monday is a big deal. Final Four Monday is a big deal. This is the College World Series Game 3 national championship to be decided. And just to me, it doesn't seem like it gets the right hype. It doesn't get the right focus. Like any other sport, the major sports, this is the day, and everybody talks about it across the country. It's not happening right now. Why? Why is that?
I don't know. And that, has it felt like that for you in any other years, or you think it's just this year?
It's more this year than any other, but generally, to me, this should be a national holiday situation. Like I want to feel like I feel when it's BCS championship. I want to feel like I feel on Final Four Monday. And Baseball, America's pastime, deserves that sort of focus and hype. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem like it's there.
Yeah, nobody's planning parties at their house for Game 3 of the College World Series. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I'm also I don't know if I can give a because I'm sort of on somewhat of like the inside of it. And the College World Series for me, even as a kid, was always such a big deal, and I followed it so closely. It's hard for me to you kind of get in your own little world and you're like, wait, what? People don't watch the College World Series? It's not a big deal to other people?
Right.
You get into that everyone thinks like me kind of a thing. But I don't know. I wonder if it has anything to do with the draft being pushed back this year, because maybe you have the baseball fan, but like the casual fan that's not, maybe not into college baseball as much, but as a baseball fan in general, that, maybe they're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan or something like that, and can look at the College World Series and say, oh, this kid, in a normal year, the draft would have happened 2 weeks ago, if not more, 3 weeks ago. And somebody might be like, oh, that's the guy we took in the first round, my team. We drafted that guy, this guy over here playing for them. I'm going to root for them, or I'm going to tune in and watch because I want to see what the future of my, Major League Baseball team holds. And maybe you get, I don't know what that would equate to for viewership or whatever, but I mean, that could be why, you maybe don't have as much hype because people don't know how good these kids actually are, like to the casual fan, until you slap, first, second, third round on them, or, whatever it is. And then they kind of get to, oh yeah, that kid's been, I didn't know he was that good, kind of a thing. That could be why. I mean, I don't know what else has changed. You would think that just with the year that we had last year and not having the College World Series, I think in the stadium there and around the stadium in Omaha, there is a buzz. I was over there last week and was there for the Vanderbilt Stanford game when Vandy came back in the 9th and won it. And it was, pretty packed house and energy and all that kind of stuff. And that was on a Wednesday night. But yeah, I think maybe the casual viewer, or somebody that might just tune in to college baseball, maybe it's a little down. And the only thing that I know that is different this year than years past is the draft has been pushed back. I mean, the draft is going to happen after the College World Series is over. I mean, it seems kind of weird.
Well, they may have set attendance records for the College World Series. They've been doing well in that area. And you mentioned the vibe is good once you get to the stadium. But I agree that maybe it hasn't been celebrated nationally, maybe that like it could be. But it's going to be a great, it should be a good night. Kumar Rocker, one of the biggest names in college baseball for Vandy, versus Will Bednar for Mississippi State. Who do you got tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be a heavyweight fight. And it's, the last two nights has been, I mean, Vandy came out like gangbusters and set the tone. And then last night, Mississippi State came right back and put it on them. So two pretty tough teams. I'm going to go Mississippi State. I think they got a little bit more firepower. I think it's obviously with the pitching matchup, it's going to be a good game, and two teams that are extremely familiar with each other. I'm going to go with Mississippi State.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm glad you guys are off the road. We can take the traveling comedy tour and book them in facilities now and let fans be seen. By the way, you can tell the Astros they can chill a little bit. That first place thing. They're making folks uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Hurting people's feelings.
Yeah, they're back in first place again. Listen, Coach, we'll reach out later. Appreciate you and the gang. Can you guys coordinate the tie? Because all the bio pictures, there's one red tie and two gray ones. I'm not sure who's.
That's really on me. I refuse to take another picture when I got it. That picture's from, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago, and I've just used the same one. I didn't jump in when I got here and go take the new mug shot. So maybe I should do that. That's actually on me. But yeah, man, what a brutal picture.
Change it immediately.
Oh, we're here for you. We're here for you.
I'd tell you to put the Slash costume picture up there, but it's a fake cigarette, but it probably wouldn't look good for me to look like I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth.
That was my thought as well. Yeah.
Although it is pretty cool.
Well done. Well done. Well done. You guys be safe. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Be good.
Lance Harvell, Nebraska assistant baseball coach. Good stuff, as always, from Lance. Let's talk to Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Usually at 11:30, we moved him to 1:30 today, but Chris Basnett is next.
More of the DP and Stevens Show is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Summer is an excellent time to keep the learning going with your child. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Sure, summer break is full of fun for kids, but it's also important to set aside time for them to read each day. It's also a great time to focus on specific skills. It's time well spent that will pay off when school starts back this fall. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m. Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Koppel wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelly Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at koppelcars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
We're on the road to freedom, America, this week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, celebrating outdoors and independence with extreme bow hunting adventures, thrilling big game pursuits, the rush of big bore air rifles, and the gift of freedom the 4th of July. Joining Jim and Trav is Christian Berg, editor of Peterson's Bow Hunting Magazine, Casey Kiefer, co-host of Humanimal, and Rossi Moriali with American Air Gunner Challenge. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's ticket to sports.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses. And you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect increasing cloud cover with an afternoon high of around 84. We will have a very slight chance of scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Winds out of the east at around 10. Tonight, clearing skies, lows dropping down to around 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high once again near 85. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the DP and Steven Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We have a couple of questions for Chris Basnett right out the jump.
We're loaded.
The text line answers our conversation and says people are pissed about the North Carolina State thing, and the rest of the country doesn't want to see SEC versus SEC title game. Let's ask Chris why the College World Series championship game is not on par with the college football championship game in the Final Four.
I don't even know if it's on par with the College World Series on the softball side. Is it?
I want to understand why.
Chris, what's your answer?
I don't know.
All right. Good night.
It should be. It should. And look, we're probably looking at it through a biased lens because we're very close to it being in Nebraska. But College World Series is awesome. Championship Series is awesome. The drama is awesome. You know, it's postseason baseball. It's championship baseball, and maybe it's something to do with where the popularity of baseball is right now in the country. I don't know, but in my eyes, you know, as someone who covers the game, as someone who loves the game, there's no reason it shouldn't be, you know, as popular as softball, or I mean, you're probably never going to be as popular as the NCAA tournament or the National Football Championship, but I think it's a sport that can be in the same breath as those sports.
Do you buy the texter's line that because NC State couldn't compete because of COVID protocols, that turned some fans off?
Yeah, I'm sure there were some. You know, who knows how much that actually played a role in it, but certainly, you know, the old saying that, you know, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, there probably is in this case. I'm sure. Look, the NCAA is an easy target, an easy scapegoat for a lot of things, and that was a situation where nobody came out of it looking good, and especially the NCAA. So yeah, certainly there's probably some people that were turned off by that.
Chris, we were having the conversation earlier about what song is it that the moment you hear it come on your phone, your station, your phone, your radio station, that you click the button and go, boom, I'm out.
Oh boy, that's a great question. I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head where I just go, no. Probably like the Macarena or something like that. I really don't like that one.
That made Tom's list.
That was number 4 on my list. Nicely done.
There you go.
Number 4.
There was another song. I forget what. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that one's probably near if that's not number 1 for me, it's probably in the top 3.
Chris, we were talking about name, image, and likeness, and it starts really quickly. Tomorrow is when it starts, and we were thinking about guys like Bryce McGowan and how they'll benefit from name, image, and likeness. Is it possible the basketball team, just because of the number of guys that are becoming more high profile, might benefit the most from name, image, and likeness?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. I think it's easier it's just inherently easier for basketball players to market themselves, because when they play their sport, you can see their face. You know, it's not football where they're wearing a helmet and pads and all this other stuff. You see those guys in person when they're playing their sport. That makes them, I think, instantly more recognizable. And maybe that's different in a place like Nebraska where football is so big. But, you know, it's going to be a lot easier to recognize, you know, Bryce McGowan's right now than it is maybe a second string defensive back on the football team, or even a starting defensive back on the football team, you know? So yeah, I think there's a real opportunity there for Nebraska's basketball players, because they're the high profile recruiting class, a high profile coaching staff, a high profile conference. There's going to be real opportunity there for those guys. I think it starts with a lot of those guys. You know who they are because you can see them and see what they look like when they're playing.
It seems to me like the boundaries are still kind of fuzzy and gray and a little bit fluid in how folks are going to operate around this thing and within this thing. For me, I still think the question is parents or not. Like if it's your son and he's a student athlete, shouldn't you as a parent be a part of the name and likeness process? Shouldn't there be some accountability for teenagers making decisions with large corporations?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that has to be worked out. And it's just, you know, this is what happens when you basically when you basically open up an entire market overnight, which is essentially what's going to happen here. It's just one of those things where that's an issue that's going to have to be dealt with when we see it pop up. And how does that work? And how do you regulate that? What kind of rules do you make with that? Do you make a student athlete sign something that says his parents will advise him or her with some of these decisions? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is to that. And so that's probably the most fascinating part of this to me is, not is Adrian Martinez going to do a Runza commercial or whatever. It's all these unknowns that we're like the one we're talking about right now, and stuff that we haven't even thought of that's going to pop up in the coming days and weeks and months, and just everything we're going to learn about how this market is going to work. There's just so many things I think that we just don't know and don't understand until we see them play out in real life before we can get an idea of how they might work.
Is it possible we're going to see football and basketball players driving around in cars from dealerships within a week?
I don't know within a week. I don't know if it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Is there a dealership out there willing to put up some money, whatever that amount is, and say, hey, we're going to have you drive our car around? Is there a dealership out there willing to place their trust in an 18, 19, 20-year-old athlete to drive their car around with all their signage on it and not getting a fender bender or run into a light pole or whatever it may be? So there's a lot. Again, it's one of the unknowns we don't know, but certainly that's on the table. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So we'll have to see how it goes. Who knows what we'll see in a week? That's certainly something I think that in the coming weeks and months could be a possibility.
Chris, I am paying attention to your Twitter, and you tweeted a thing that has it made my eye, a single tear ran down the corner of my cheek because from sadness. It can't possibly be true that you've only had one jersey, and it's Roger Dorn. That can't be true that Roger Dorn is the only jersey you've ever had. Please tell me that's not so.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big jersey guy. I just never have been. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I've never had like a baseball jersey. I think I had when I was a little kid. I was in high school, I think, maybe a freshman in high school. I had like a Carolina Panthers jersey because that was like the cool new gear to get when they were an expansion franchise. But yeah, I've never really had, I never had like a Joe Montana jersey or anything like that. So yeah, when I was a kid for Halloween, I dressed up as Turner Gill once, and I dressed up as I think Roger Staubach once for Halloween. But other than that, yeah, I'm not a big jersey guy.
Do you have jersey rules, like you can't wear a jersey from a player that's younger than you?
I'm getting to the age where they're about all younger than me.
They're
anymore,
all younger.
So,
Yeah, they're all younger.
I'm not too far away from that, but I try to wear my Tom Stevens jersey when I cover basketball
there you
games.
Go.
That's really the only rule I have.
That's good.
And other than that, I just kind of play it by ear.
I've sent about 100 to him, so finally he's wearing my jersey. That's
the
good.
women's auxiliary asked for him not to do that because it was such a panic and chaos when the pipes and arms showed up. He was like, "Can somebody get control of?"
I've got some
Can I get security over here, please?
Let's lock him up.
Chris Bastet of the Lincoln Journal-Star, our guest. I want to talk about something you tweeted out. Delano Banton blowing up. He blew up at the G League. I don't think that's saying it too strongly. At the G League Elite Camp, did very well. Then he went to the Pro Day and did very well as well. And you tweeted out the quote from Jeremy Woo saying he's built a case to be drafted after coming in off the radar. Could he be drafted?
Yeah, it's a hell of a story. He's not even at the G League Elite Camp unless DeJon Jarreau from Houston gets injured and can't make it. Like, he wasn't going to be there. And then they had an injury. They called Delano. They bring him in. He performs really well. He goes to this pro day, and by all accounts, he shot the lights out of it. When you look at some of the draft experts, what they're tweeting out about his performance there, he's always, piqued people's interest. And we know this because of his size, because of how different he looks as a point guard with his length, with his ability to see over defenders, with his passing ability, his feel for the game. We knew those things were there. We knew those things were good. And, it's what he's done is he's legitimized those things and legitimized himself in these workouts. And he's legitimized himself to a point where if he can figure out how to shoot it, he's going to be an NBA player. Right? And it's not that much of a pipe dream for him. It's there for him to take. And look, one good shooting day at a pro day does not mean he's going to get drafted this year. But is it enough to maybe convince a team to take a flyer on him and say, we can develop that guy in the G League and have him ready as a role player, in a couple years to call up? Yeah, that's very much a possibility. Now, does that mean it's going to happen this year? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows yet, but certainly Delano Banton has kind of written a heck of a story for himself over these past few weeks and put himself in a position to where, he bet on himself and now it's paying off. And that's a pretty cool deal if it ends up playing out like he hopes it does.
I'm just fascinated at how much the new direction of the G League changes the conversation when it comes to collegiate athletics, because basketball players now know that they can make a pretty good living, even if they don't go to the league, if they go to the G League or get overseas. And Banton seems to have more options than we thought.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a guy, the G League is certainly a route. Does he want to go to Europe and play, or go to Australia and play in the NBL and make probably six figures or close to it? Does he want to come back to Nebraska knowing he would be coming back to a pretty good situation from a team standpoint, and a pretty good situation from a playing time standpoint and a visibility standpoint and a development standpoint with essentially an NBA coaching staff in place here with Fred Hoiberg and Nate Lenzer and some of the other people on that staff? He's got every option he has is a good one in my mind. It's just a matter of what kind of promises is he getting from NBA teams? What is his overseas options look like? And obviously he knows what he has here in Lincoln. So if you're Delano Banton, this summer couldn't have gone any better for you, because no matter what he decides, I think it's going to be a good decision, and you can't say that about everybody. You can't say about a lot of players, well, he could either go back to college, get a ton of exposure, get better and improve his draft stock, or he could go pro now, make decent money, and maybe be in the league in a couple of years anyway. So yeah, he's in a spot where there's no bad decision being made. It just becomes a matter of what he thinks what kind of value he thinks he can get for himself.
Chris, it's good to know you're wearing my old softball jersey that I sent you. That's a great feeling. I feel so much better now.
It's a little tight, but I think we're going to be okay. I'm just not going to throw it in the dryer when I wash it.
Don't throw it in the dryer. You'll ruin it. I want to see you wearing it next time I see you. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
There you go. Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Let's get to break. Finish out with the leftovers next.
You're listening to the DP and Stevens Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're on the road to freedom, America, this week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, celebrating outdoors and independence with extreme bow hunting adventures, thrilling big game pursuits, the rush of big bore air rifles, and the gift of freedom the 4th of July. Joining Jim and Trav is Christian Berg, editor of Peterson's Bow Hunting Magazine, Casey Kiefer, co-host of Humanimal, and Rossi Moriali with American Air Gunner Challenge. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's ticket to sports.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect increasing cloud cover with an afternoon high of around 84. We will have a very slight chance of scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Winds out of the east at around 10. Tonight, clearing skies, lows dropping down to around 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high once again near 85. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the DP and Stevens Show, brought to you by Tracy's Collision Center on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick, game 3. Who you got?
Vandy, right?
Mississippi State.
Oh, you got Mississippi State? Bednar over Rocker.
Okay.
Rockers. Who was? I think Rocker's only thrown 90. No, it's Bednar that's only thrown 97 pitches.
Everybody's available tonight, so all bets are off. Quick moment. Shout out our buddy in arms, Matt Abdelmassi, had surgery yesterday on his shoulder. We're wishing you well. Manage the pain, my friend. Rest up. Be in a good voice. We're rooting for you.
He won't be able to go out recruiting for a while, but I'd say he should take a break. The month of June was crazy for Nebraska basketball.
He deserves a break.
That was nuts, and good job by Matt. Let's get to the leftovers.
I'd like to be alone with the sandwich for a moment.
Are you going to eat it?
Yes.
The leftovers with DP and Stevens.
A pair of Nebraska football players made the Pro Football Focus preseason All Big Ten first team. Defensive end Ben Stille and linebacker JoJo Domann were listed as first-team preseason selections at their positions. Stille was one of the more productive pass rushers in Power 5 last year. He got a grade of 81 by Pro Football Focus for his pass rushing, only behind Christian Barrymore of Alabama and Haskell Garrett of Ohio State. Not bad.
What?
Yeah. His overall grade was 79. Higher than his previous best. JoJo Domann led Nebraska with 58 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 5 passes defended.
Whose poll is this?
This is Pro Football Focus, well-respected magazine.
How many pressures did he have? Still he have?
I don't know, because he did it from the defensive tackle position, not the defensive end position where he normally played. He moved.
So he put up Sue type numbers?
No, they're not saying that he's Sue.
He put up Aaron Donald type numbers? What are we talking about?
They're saying that he played pretty well. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
And Domann, his overall grade was a 73. He got 86 for his past offense.
Did Cam Taylor make the?
No, those are the only two. But those
No,
guys
nobody
are,
else from the secondary. Just
nobody else.
okay.
That's it.
All righty then.
That is it.
All hey.
Are you disputing that?
I am not. I'm just caught off guard.
Houston Harding, Preston Johnson, both combined on a 4-hitter last night. As we know, Mississippi forced game 3. They hammered Vanderbilt 13-2 last night and saved a lot of their pitching. They only had to use 2 pitchers. Who do you have tonight? You just asked Nick.
I don't. You
don't have anybody?
You know, come on.
I like Vandy with Rocker on the mound. If Nick's going to go Mississippi
Stud
State.
arm early on. You put up 13 runs one night. The general premise is that you don't put up that many runs the next night, right? That's been the standard for baseball in playoff scenarios. That if you have a big night of 13 runs, you don't put up 13 runs the next night.
Memphis men's hoops. Penny Hardaway is staying. You know, he was rumored to take the Orlando gig.
He was not sure.
Are you surprised he's staying?
I am stunned, but they did give him Larry Brown as an assistant, which changed the game for him.
But Larry Brown's 80 years old.
But having his brain is not.
No,
his brain is not. That's the move. In order to keep Penny, you get him Larry Brown.
Larry Brown, of course, the only coach in basketball history to win an NBA title and a college title at Kansas. And Penny's been good, 63-32 at Memphis.
Penny and Larry Brown on the same bench.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
At Memphis.
Yep, that's really good for Memphis fans. We are out. Have yourself a great day. The recruiting hour is next. We are leaving and driving home right now. Bye-bye.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving